He raised Calendor above his head. Silver lightning crackled from the blade, jagged streaks arching toward the great dome above. "Stop!" he shouted. The fighting ceased. Men stared at him in wonder over black veils from beneath the rims of round helms. "I am Randall THOR!" he called. So his voice rang throughout the chamber. "I am the dragon reborn!" Calendor shone in his grasp. One by one, veiled men and helmeted, they knelt to him, crying, "The dragon is reborn! The dragon is reborn!"
Last time on Revisiting the Wheel of Time.
How'd you find out about the series? How'd you get into it?
Obviously, it always goes back to Tolkien. Getting introduced to Tolkien as a kid. But then, in junior high, I was so horribly bored by school that I skipped classes to go to the library to read. That's where I picked up. I started reading the Dragonlance series. And all those D&D books and stuff. But then I just, moved on through the fantasy section. Got stuck at Terry Pratchett for a while because that's another fantastic series. But then moved on to this cover that looked pretty freaking awesome of a group of people making their way out of a village in the dead of night. And then I went and bought the book because I liked it so much. And just kept on reading the series to the point that I actually have 2 copies of every single book. I've got a hardcover copy and a softcover copy because I just love the series that much.
I support the multiple formats that Gadfly was talking about.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget to watch the show on Amazon Prime.
You just quit it with that.
Wow,
those are fighting words.
Man.
The next time you come to visit, no whiskey for you. What are your predictions for the next section?
Rand's going to get Calendor.
Okay.
It might not happen. Maybe Rand dies at the end of this book. I mean, it could happen. I didn't read it, but I think Rand gets Calendor.
And now the conclusion.
Throughout the city of Tyr, people woke with the dawn, speaking of the dreams they had had, dreams of the dragon battling Baalzamon in the heart of the stone. And when their eyes rose to the great fortress of the stone, they beheld a banner waving from its greatest height. Across a field of white flowed a sinuous form like a great serpent, scaled in scarlet and gold, but with a golden lion's mane and 4 legs, each tipped with 5 golden claws. Men came, stunned and frightened, from the stone to speak in hushed tones of what had happened in the night, and men and women thronged the streets, weeping as they shouted the fulfillment of prophecy. "The dragon!" they shouted. "THOR! The dragon! THOR!"
Well, we are here at the finale of The Dragon Reborn. I actually finished this book earlier in the week, so some of the I might not remember all of the details, but whoa, what an ending! I mean, I don't know. It take me a while to really compare this ending to The Great Hunt, but both of these last two books, like the endings are insane, and like this one is no exception. So I really enjoyed what I read so far, and I can't wait to talk about it with everybody here. So just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Obviously, my panelists are here in the chat: Pips, Nathan, Man Manethrin. Thank you guys for keeping the conversation going. Of course, I want to say hello to Jacob Ironside, Gadfly Fiction, Al Dan, my friend in real life, Brian Anderson, and Mr. William Richards, who may or may not be a White Cloak. Just saying. So, all right, but I just want to bring in my special guest on his return visit. Let's welcome the one and only Salty Traveling Sea. What's going on, sir? How you doing?
I'm a regular here. They know my drink order. They know what's going on. I just haven't been in a lot of these. Thanks for having me on, Brian.
So
there's a lot going on in this book. There's a lot going on just in these chapters, man.
So I know I've already asked you how you got into Wheel of Time. What did you like? So I forget. Did you say you read the books as they came out? So did you read The Dragon Reborn as it came out? I think it was 91 that this one came out.
91, I was a freshman in college. That's not true. I was a sophomore in college, and I picked up the book and then got distracted by liquor and women, and then didn't really pick it up again. And I've told the story on my channel until the late 90s when I had a then girlfriend who was into it and had all of the hardcovers. And that's when I got into it. And I'd read through it. I thought it was a pretty darn good series, especially book 2, 3, and 4. And kind of forgot about it for a while, and then Rafe Judkins a couple of years ago, Amazon was talking about what they were going to do with this series, and I started to have some issues with what was being said, and I went back and read the series again, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is so much better than what I remembered. And it's the benefit of reading other fantasy that was out there. I mean, after Game of Thrones and the death march of murderous, this everything is gray, there's no heroes, and then you get Matt and Perrin and Rand, and then you get to see Nynaeve and Egwene and just Loyal in this wonderful world where nobody is constantly getting raped and their heads cut off and everything else like that. Just a great story.
Story. It's refreshing to see good characters. The reason why I found I really enjoyed this the second time around was cutting out the maybe it's because of Game of Thrones season 8. Maybe that's the reason why I just completely lost that and Walking Dead. Maybe those are the reasons why I lost interest in like grimdark and killing off characters. I mean, you don't have to kill off characters to give the story weight. I mean, you have to have believable characters. You have to have characters that are somewhat relatable, and just have their journeys be compelling, and you wanting to be on this journey with them. And that's how I feel about Rand, Man, Perrin, and of course also Nynaeve and Egwene when sometimes.
Yeah. I still don't. It's funny how Hollywood has never picked up this book series to do an adaptation. Even to this day, no one has ever done an adaptation of these books. Like at all.
I mean,
I know somebody kind of took like some names from this book and tried to make something that was complete and total dog shit. But like nobody has ever made this book series the story of these characters.
Yeah, I truly agree on that. So. Oh man, Salty! Thanks for joining us. And
I loved your intro, by the way. I was discoing backstage, going, "Nobody does it better." Just totally.
Spy who loved me. Yeah, it was different formats. So let's bring in the rest of the panelists. So, let's start with the one who came here first, Man and Manethrin. What's going on, sir? You and the beard and the boss pipe. One of these days, I gotta learn to smoke.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend it. It's very relaxing. So I've got my pipe filled with tobacco, ready to talk about the end of this freaking book.
What kind? Yeah. Oh, very nice, sir. Very nice.
This is amazing stuff.
Yes.
The Mallard, what is it called? The Mallard Fluke?
Mallard Flake.
Mallard Flake. Okay. I don't know what that is, but hey, that's cool.
It is delicious, is what it is.
All right.
And some amazing rye. This is great stuff.
Oh, nice.
We're a regular den of iniquity up in here with our toxic masculinity, our tobacco, and our alcohol. If only we had the pew-pews too.
Yeah, I'm only drinking Four Roses
be in my
bourbon.
safe.
Huh?
Off camera.
They might be in my safe.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, so today I'm drinking some Four Roses bourbon on the rocks.
Good.
So, and I think I'm almost done with it already. So
it's good. It's good.
All right, but we have another panelist, and I was surprised he decided to surprised he's joining us because he's really busy with this thing called life. So, but he's here, and let's welcome the horse himself. What's up, Pips?
Hey, how's it going? As always, thanks for having me on. And yeah, I mean, obviously I got to make time to talk Wheel of Time. I think I've been on. Have I? I don't think I missed an episode of your stream.
You have not missed. Nope, you haven't missed an episode. So
I got to keep that streak going. I started with you on House of the Dragon, and I think we made it all the way through that. We've been doing all, so it's like every other Sunday for how long? Like gotta be coming up on
September.
6 months here.
In September.
Like,
So it's longer.
So it has been a voyage through a couple different, House of the Dragon was House of the Dragon. It had its ups and downs. Wheel of Time is like my favorite series of all time. So it's a real treat. Always a pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me back.
You say it's a voyage. Is it the same voyage that I took when we were hanging out, drinking? Well, I was drinking. You weren't.
Which voyage was that? You mean
the bourbon, or that was it the ocean bourbon, whatever that was?
Yeah. I gave him salty. I don't know if you've had this before. I gave him some Jefferson's Ocean.
Oh yes.
And I'm a big fan of Jefferson's Ocean. I always thought that it was a like a marketing ploy. Like I didn't think it was going to make like a big difference or not, but there's a real difference between Jefferson's Ocean and Jefferson's Reserve. And it's got some salt, it's got some smoke, it's got a lot of complex flavors going for it. So I do like that.
I agree. I won't buy it here in the current state I'm living in, considering the exorbitant liquor taxes. But when I cross over the border to the east, I may get some again. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Maybe the next time I see some good, I might have to hit you up for your shipping address. Not that I would ever ship anything through the mail.
No.
I would never do that.
I have never done it.
That would be illegal. So I would obviously employ some sort of a courier service.
Just drive.
Like a Pony Express sort of situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I occasionally see it actually at the Costco in my local area, and last time I did, I bought a flat because it was such a great price. So if I see it again, sir,
I'm crying. I'm crying inside. Hail to Kayla Dare. Hail to William Richardson. Hail to Trip, who's in the chat. Thank you guys for showing up.
Yeah, thank you. And we have one more. He just finally decided to show up. This jerk.
Oh, that loser!
We stalled long enough for him to arrive.
This asshole. Like who made this guy a co-panelist? What's going on, Prophet?
I don't know. Bad taste, I guess. I don't know what to say.
It's amazing someone has separated him from the Nintendo.
It's true.
I know.
It's actually right here. No, I'm kidding. It's not. I put it away.
He wasn't even at work. He was just playing Zelda.
That's true. I've been in like a small room playing Zelda for like I don't know how
you make time for that. I haven't played it since Monday. Jeez.
Well, basically any downtime I've had has been that, right? So I mean, within reason, but yeah,
guilty.
So yeah, but
so
kids are fed.
So I need to ask a White Cloak some advice right now. We have a Forsaken in the chat. Is there a danger to Is there a danger to
Nah.
Are you sure?
I'm not a white cloak, but I guess
if
I'm an
you,
honorary white cloak. But
if you walk in the light, you have nothing to fear from Forsaken, Dark Friends, Shadow Spawn.
And no one can walk in the dark. Whatever what's the phrase? No one can walk so long in the dark that they can't come back to the light.
No man can walk so long in the shadow that he cannot come again to the light. That one.
Unless you're Lori Lightfoot, or Jay Inslee.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't hear that. So
I heard that she has a new position as a professor somewhere.
Oh God! Don't do
Everything you need to know about Western civilization is in that. What Pips just said.
I think she is now the professor for like law and equity at Harvard, I believe.
Wow.
Well, that means she's not in Chicago. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Spoiler alert! Look at what's going on in South Africa.
Okay. Yesterday. Once again, the political views are do not represent the panel or the chat. So there you go.
It's
so just a disclaimer. Just a disclaimer from the Nerdporial Continuum. There you go. Yeah. So let's get started. We're 15 minutes and let's get started on this. So where we last left off, Matt and Tom were attacked. They were camped out on the road to Camelin. They were attacked. And I think Matt used fireworks to distract the bad guys. Tom dispatched a couple. Matt took out one. And then Matt has this thing where he won't attack a woman. He won't attack a woman. And the woman was going to secretly stab him with a dagger. And Tom saw right through it, killed her. So, and that's where we kind of leave off. And they decided to keep, I think they kept riding towards Camelin after that. I don't think they stayed put. So, but now we've arrived in Camelin. So here, Matt believes that Matt barely remembers the last time he was there because of, the saga of the dagger. So he actually goes to the palace right away. He wants to just get this shit done. So him and Tom they split off. Tom goes to the Queen's blessing, and Matt goes directly to the palace. Well, he goes to the palace, and he does not I like how he was trying to replay like how he was going to approach the guards and explain who he was, and the first thing that comes out of his mouth is Tarvalon. He's like, I'm from Tarvalon. They're like, well, get the fuck out of here. We don't want your kind here, So, and I think the guard's name was, he was a fat old dude named I don't remember. I don't even think I wrote his name down. Doesn't matter. So he gets chased off. And so Matt ends up goes to the Queen's blessing, and he sees Tom, and we see Basil Gilligan for the first time since Eye of the World, and we actually see Colleen, the woman in the kitchen, and he's like, "Are you two married?" Because of the way she talks to him, the way they talk to each other. So I thought that was funny. And of course, we find out what's up.
Elber.
Okay, there you go. So we find out that Morghese, the queen, has a new advisor, and that his own guards are the ones patrolling it. And so here we find out that Gareth Bryn has been forced out. We find out that this advisor's name is Lord Gabriel, and let's just say that. Nobody's heard of him before. He just kind of came out of the woodwork, helped her. Because in the first book, when they're during the whole Camelin thing, there were riots. There was mostly peaceful demonstrations by white cloaks. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There was a lot of issues. So with that, Lord Gabriel manages to suppress all that and basically solve all of the Queen's problems. And so as a result, he gets awarded Elida's position as the advisor. So I'm curious if they got rid of Elida before or after he shows up.
I thought it was alluded to that Elida left. To go after
because they expelled her because of the events of the Great Hunt.
Yeah, so Elida came with Morghese when Morghese went to Tar-Valon
Right, and she just
during
stayed.
the aftermath of the Great Hunt, and then Morghese left Elida there when she went back to Andor.
Oh,
because
that's right.
That
Good
was what
choice.
Vaughn was
Like
saying.
Morghese does a lot wrong, but good choice.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I do like the general sort of metaphor of anyone going to Tar-Valon to drop off their trash, like just
yeah.
But yeah.
This again, and where this goes is again when somebody finally does wake up and do an adaptation of these books. I so much was set up like in the Eye of the World with what happens with Matt and what Matt does and the locations that Matt goes, that it rewards you. It rewards you for reading the first book and then shows you, this places where a friend of his was, and it's just I found that scene to be really cool with Matt essentially retracing the ground that Rand was in 2 books before, 2 books before.
Yeah.
I as a reader love that because it's like I've already been here and look at this. Here's Matt now, and it's like I don't know, maybe that's just the way that I read, but I really like stuff like that because I forget this place.
Speaking of that, I forget if like Rand went into detail on how I think he did. I think Rand did go into detail with all of them how he managed to fall into the castle gardens in the first place. So, and I think what's awesome is Matt remembered, and he used that as his way of getting in. So after after he, so Matt rolls the dice and he's like, you know what, I'm going back. I'm going to do exactly, I'm going to do what Rand did. I'm going to climb the wall and I'm just going to drop in. And so he drops in, but this time he doesn't come across Elber, whoever that, fat old, jerk face was. He comes across Talonvor. And I think Talonvor was the same one that escorted Rand to the Queen in Eye of the World, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was Talonvor. I mean,
I forget. He's the captain of the guard, right? He's the captain of the guard.
He was a lieutenant. He was Lieutenant Talonvor. I think he is still a lieutenant at this point.
So he's not in charge of the guard.
No,
but he's high up.
Yeah, I mean, you get the impression that the Andorran military has pretty much lieutenant, captain, and then captain general. So there's only a few officer ranks.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's a guardsman lieutenant.
I want to call out Gadfly Fiction, and it's moved on from me now. His comment about the amazing thing. Oh, I can pull it back up. The amazing thing that a lot of stories don't do nowadays, especially on streaming, is that things are going in and on in the outside world of the main character's actions. It's true. And not only that, but like there's events and motions and things that are occurring. It's not just the world doesn't start when a character walks in a room. There's other things there, and Jordan does a good job of that. Now he alludes to things too, like if you remember certain interactions and certain tension that may have been there, or certain things said, like in I believe it was the second book where they're talking about some of the things involving the Queen and other stuff like that. Again, it rewards you if you are emotionally connecting and intellectually connecting to not just the Emmonsfield 5, but all of these other things that are going on in all these different locations. Again, if you were watching something on Amazon, you have no idea what the hell I just said. But
it's we've talked about it a little bit before about one of the cool things is the sort of fog of war effect that Jordan created, where you're constantly getting rumors at a distance, and you as the audience know that certain characters are getting really bad information that is, if it was right, it was right like weeks or months ago, and sometimes it's just flat out wrong, like the rumors that are on the street and the information people are getting is misleading. But there's also what you talked about the kind of world in motion, and it's really driven home when characters that are not even like C-level characters that in any other series wouldn't have had a name, like come back and reappear in the story and are woven back into the narrative. And there's a few from as early as Eye of the World that show up as late as in the Sanderson books, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's really it's a great story. One of the things that I really like about that is actually, you know what? This is a super minor spoiler, but I'm going to see if Nerdporial finds it when he gets there instead of spoiling it for him. So never mind. Disregard.
Don't worry. I was paying attention to something else. I got the memory of a goldfish. So finished season 2, by the way.
Well, I didn't spoil anything.
Stop it too.
Okay, so ends on a major cliffhanger. So okay, all right, there you go. All right. So season. Okay, so wait, we're not talking about that. All right, so Matt gets taken by Talonvor to Morghese, or actually no, wait, sorry, I kind of skipped. I skipped a major part of this. Sorry about that. So before he encounters Talonvor, Matt comes across a couple guys talking in a window, and he's listening in. And one of them is like, I want you to kill Elaine. And this other guy's like, yes, Great Master, or something like that. And we don't know who this guy is, but we find out that the other guy's name is I think it's Komar, and Komar. And like, what's funny was, I think if I remember correctly, Matt thought he was the one with the powerful voice, and not the other guy. But he didn't see. I don't think he saw the other guy. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So here in Great Master, I was like, maybe it's just a title. You know, who knows? So
I have to ask: is this did you put a message in our kind of Discord stream after reading this? Because that was the one where I was like, I love that I know the passage that you're reading based on just the line "Great Master." Was that the time?
Well, maybe not when I was reading this one, but there was a point later that made me connect to this point. So
okay, when you said the line about Great Master, I thought that you were reading like basically this part.
No, I was reading another part, because this was the first instance I heard this term, the Great Master. And then I heard it again. I was like, oh shit. And that's how I figured out that this Lord, or that this person who may or may not be talking may be a Forsaken. So I don't know. I haven't. There's no confirmation here.
You've probably read more fantasy books than I have. Maybe Nathan.
Just because I'm old, because I'm near death's door. Yes, yes, that's true.
But can you think of another author who did something like that before, where you had this kind of really interesting introduction to a character, where like you meet the character, but you don't know it's the character, because you get this sort of the voice or the partial introduction, and then there's the dawning realization later? Because it reminds me of the thing we talked about in our last stream with the realization of Gray Man. And so that's like two really interesting setups for the reader in the same book.
I think I said this a lot on live streams. I think when you read a book, it is one of the most intimate and imagination things that you can do, because it's your voice, you're the narrator. When you sit down with any book, you bring not just every book you've read, but all of your experiences and all the archetypes you've experienced in your life in whatever form they may be. And even if you go back to Elias and things like that, like Robert Jordan, I think, is really good at foreshadowing and low-level, slow burn setup things. And you as the reader, that's what gets me high. I get high on this. Oh, I think I know what's going to happen, or what does this mean? And Robert Jordan, after he got through the Eye of the World, I think becomes really comfortable in doing that. And this I think was a great scene, because I was sitting here while you guys were talking, and I remember the first time I read this book, and I was like, oh shit, they're going to get Matt. Because I really thought all hell was going to break loose with Matt, because I didn't know where the story was going to go. Because how could Matt hear this? And then because Matt is not, we're still learning who Matt is and what Matt's about and things like that. And so I don't know. That's why I love this book. That's why I love this series, are moments like that. But I don't know.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty insane. I thought it was insane. I like it. I like figuring things. I like thinking. I like formulating theories and everything. But
it's part of
I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty positive that I'm correct, based on the evidence so far. So
it's one of the reasons I think that stories by like Conan Doyle and mysteries appeal to people, especially when you've never read these things for the first time, and it's like a whodunit. And so much of these books is who's a dark friend, who's on this team, who's on that team, who's got what going on. And when you start I got to be careful about what I say, but when you start understanding who people are and what their stories are that you've already been introduced to, or their backstories, and you realize you may have had a misconception about this person, whether they be, an innkeeper or a queen or something like that. It's like, oh my God, it's just the payoff is so much more rich. And that's, I think, why Robert Jordan, his legacy has endured. And I think that's why people love him and want to defend what he's done so ferociously.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm reading like I've been reading more like tweets and stuff from Amazon Prime about Wheel of Time, and especially like that. I was watching I was watching that segment. I think it was beginning of episode 7, the one with a certain woman, a certain character, pregnant character, fighting a bunch of armored Kyrian. And like the title was "Watch This Epic Scene," and I was looking at the comments. Like I filtered it to the latest, and they're like, "What's so great about this? This is terrible, terrible,
Yeah.
terrible, 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 terrible." So, if you like the series, if you're watching, you like the series. No, I mean, no judgment on you. I might not trust your taste, but
I'm judging.
Yeah, I mean, we're not here to
I am. I'm an asshole. No, I mean, if you want to enjoy this as a fantasy show that you watch when you're ordering shit off Amazon or cruising porn or Grindr, whatever, that's cool. You can do you, right? But don't expect, I guess, me, and I'm not even that much of a purist, and I would say a lore expert, has some of the people that are on this panel. I just think this is a great series, and I love the Emmons Field 5. I think it's a fantastic story, and especially in the world we live in now. It is not just okay to have heroes, but it is necessary for us to have those heroes and to pass these heroes on in the hero's journey on to the next generation.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it helps us as humans strive to be better. I mean, we can look to real people, but fictional characters, like this, just being part of a story, or us, experiencing a story, or 1,000 lives, as other people put when you read something. It's very important, and it encourages us to be better and to better ourselves.
Yeah, we're not just moddable meat like they're telling us. And Gadfly Fiction says it's a hallmark of a good book that every time you reread it, you pick up something new. It's true.
Yep, that's what I love about older Star Trek. Every time I rewatch an episode, either it just once again reminds me of just how great it is and how fulfilling it is, compared to what they come out with now, which I watch and I'm like, ugh. But that's beside the point. Let's keep going with this. So Matt gets wind of a plot against Elaine by someone in Morghase's court. So Talonvor, that's when Talonvor comes up to him, and this time with Talonvor, he says, "I have a letter from Elaine." He doesn't mention Tar-Valon, he mentions Elaine right away. So right away, that gets Talonvor's attention. Talonvor doesn't turn him away right away, but Talonvor also says, he's like, "How'd you get in?" He's like, "Oh, the same way." He's like, "Oh, through that wall there." He's like, "Goddamn wall." but I believe Talonvor actually offers to take the letter. Matt's like, "No, I made a promise to deliver this personally," and so he gets taken to the Queen, and he's like, "Okay, this is a chance for me to tell her that there's a plot against her daughter." And then what's awesome about this is that, once again, the characters here are smart. Matt is a smart character. Matt knew right away, once he heard the voice of Lord Gabriel, when Lord Gabriel asked to see the letter, that he was the one that gave the command to off Elaine and her two friends, who he figures out is Egwene and Nynaeve. So he stays mum about it. So he basically says, they're like, "Who are you?" oh, he's like, oh, my name is Tom Grimwell. I'm Elsie Grimwell's brother from one of the farms over here. And I was just visiting my sister at Tarvalon, and Elaine commanded me to, bring this letter, and that's why I'm here. And I thought that was great. I thought that was a great little name or cover name that he used. So, they're like, okay, fine. So they release Matt, and I think Lord Gabriel actually pays him 10 gold marks or something. And he's like, shit, I got to get out of here. So Talonvor escorts him, and he can't make it look like he wants to get out of there. So he has to walk normal speed and everything.
Yeah. There was a lot of great tension in that scene. And Aldan nails it. He says, your first intro to Matt's amazing backstories. LOL. It's true. You start seeing the trickster, the rogue, it's why so many people love Matt, including Aldan. I remember him talking about it, but yeah. What is Steve eating? What are you eating? Did you bring enough for the whole class, Prophet of the Dragon?
I can't eat, man. It's a pretzel stick. Get off my back. You're smoking a pipe. You're drinking whiskey. I have a pretzel.
So here in Chicago, we call them pretzel rods.
Pretzel rod stick, whatever. Yeah, they're actually pretzel rods. You're absolutely correct. But sue me. Jeez.
You just keep putting that rod
it wouldn't be so bad if I lathered it in mayo, right?
Yeah. When's that next mayo video? I told you, a curb stomp.
Curb stomp, yeah.
Jeez. I don't remember if it's around this time or later after Matt gets out when they start talking about Morgaze and her former lovers and things like that. And what did you guys think about that Morgaze and just kind of her She's clearly under. What do you mean? She's clearly under. Well, I kind of got that vibe. Like obviously she's under a spell, but I kind of also got the. I thought there was some sexual stuff where she was basically, I don't know,
betting Gabriel.
Yeah, I mean, gushing might be gushing. That's kind of the vibe.
Basically just an unloved puppy dog, being bed by him.
Yeah,
and
I think it's made pretty clear in I think other interactions
later.
True. Yeah, okay, and maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Which
later on it's obvious. I don't want to go into it too much, but later on it's quite obvious. So
park that right.
Yeah, I had to step away, so I missed part of it. So I don't want to stay too much because I don't want to spoil anything. So I'm just going to shut up for this second.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I'm really curious what happens later with Gabriel and
spoilers
and
spoilers. William Richards. Spoilers.
That I figured. I mean that went without saying.
Only in between the harem, okay? Like she's just one of the group. It's okay.
I agree with what Salty was saying though. That like it's pretty clear at this point, right? Like it gets made fairly explicit, but like it's very clear.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I like how Matt basically he one thing that I do want to say before he parts with Talonvor, he asks Talonvor, it's like you must serve Gabriel and Morgaze pretty well, huh? And he's like, I serve Morgaze to the death. So I was like, I don't like where that's going.
But Talonvor?
Yeah.
Talonvor's a Chad. That's all you need to know. Read and find out the rest.
All right.
Is he a Chad? Is he?
Well, for putting up with someone, yeah.
Is that a Chad maneuver?
I think some of the mumbo jumbo going on with Gabriel sort of, went on to him for another person. But I mean, I look, man.
For proper loyalty, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I get he's a bit of a puppy dog himself at times, but for what he does, I mean, yeah, I think he's a Chad.
I don't know.
Putting up with a lot of bullshit. Yeah, spicy mayonnaise. That sounds about right.
Hot take from
that's Morgaze. That's Morgaze.
Ooh.
I'm going to go on record and say I think Talonvor is more simp than Chad. That's all I'm saying.
I think he's even parts both.
But so are we talking about the fire cave situation with
oh
what was the Dr.
Fire
Crusher
cave.
you know?
See,
Oh,
we're
sorry.
splitting the chat too. So we got it's weird. The women say adorable Chad. The Forsaken says a simp.
Look at this.
Looks like I need to
Alex
make a poll.
thinks he's whipped. So I think he's I think he's a cross of
definitely make a
both. He's
poll.
definitely whipped. He's definitely a simp. But look, what he ends I'm gonna shut up. What he ends up doing is pretty noble and right. So we'll just leave it at that.
If it really is that top shelf 10, that's all I'm gonna say. Sometimes you can be both a Chad and a simp if it is the top shelf. Let's just say that.
I mean, he's a good dude.
Yeah, I think good dude is better than Chad. I don't know about Chad. Good dude is more the lean. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait. I already put it down. Come on, like
put what down?
Chad or Sim. You're making this more complicated.
Oh
well, I don't see the poll.
Then simp.
I agree with Trent.
I don't. Then simp. I've been convinced he's more of a cool dude than a Chad. I think is.
All right. It's up. Vote
good
your
dude,
heart
cool
out.
dude. Yeah. So we're going simp. Sorry, man.
We're gonna do this scientifically. You are on Nerdtorial's channel, by the way. So.
50-50.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we get the all right. So Matt finds his way back to the inn, and he basically tells Basil and Tom what's going on. I think what's funny is Gil does not like him because he said he had dreams about him or something, like about him doing bad shit. So he can't really explain it, but he basically, once again, I already went through like his history, but what I thought was great was the best way that they can warn her is to spread a rumor about that. So they find the biggest blabbermouth on the planet. Basil Gill knows the biggest blabbermouth in the Camelin area and tells her this little rumor. And they have her like spread it like wildfire to like everybody, to the point where I thought it was funny that they couldn't track it down back to her. They're like, they're not going to track it back to her, right? No, because like what's funny is they all forget what where they first heard it or something. I think that's what they were counting on. So I thought that was funny, and I think it was Tom suggested. Actually, Tom was the one that suggested doing the whole rumor thing. So that's, once again, you get some good advice from Tom. But yeah, Matt really stands out. Matt's like, he's not like necessarily, like he tells Tom as it is sometimes, like especially when Tom really needs it for his own good. Like for instance, later on, Tom gets sick.
Yeah,
and Matt kind of lays the law down. He's like, no, you're going to get better. I'm taking you to a wise woman. So I just really like how Matt really just develops in this book, especially once he awakes. So everything that you guys said about it is true.
You have definitely met Matt's sort of final form, like he still does a lot of development.
Yeah. Okay. So he's like,
I'm not going to say plot wise or like stuff that he gets up to, but like you've seen his character. And I think that's one of the reasons that he is such a popular sort of character in the books is that he is the reluctant kind of hero figure, right?
That's it.
And Salty will. I'm gonna have to pull a Salty here.
No, I don't know, but it's like I remember a certain battle.
Matt.
Do you remember? There's a certain battle where it's like, I am getting the hell out of here. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't want to do this, and then by him doing that, he actually does something that. It's just it's stuff like
it's hard not to talk. Well, that's coming in the next book. You'll see why Matt is Matt. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to get. It's hard because Matt, you're just
2 books from now. 2 books from now is the one that you're thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, there's a reason why so many people love Matt. I mean, they really do, and it's. I remember when I was doing the Wheel of Time. During the show, what was really Wheel of Time, like several people here and I think in chat I talked to, and just why people love the characters that they do, why so many people love Matt, why so many people love Parent, and it's funny because I remember some people like Nynaeve, So
Vendel, you can stuff
much
it.
darker.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like,
him and Leandrin
didn't he kill a kid? Didn't he kill a kid?
Leandrin are hanging out talking about their dark sides together. So
yeah.
I will say that Matt, to the point that you were making about everybody liking him, it's almost like Matt represents all of the like positives of masculinity.
That's it.
It's almost like masculinity is actually a good thing that people like and that society needs.
I think, well, and I think you're entirely true. I think Matt encapsulates, I think, at least 2 of the Jungian archetypes as far as, out of the 20 that are there, and when you look at Rand, I think, does Rand do too and Perrin do too? I mean, that's a whole other show just to look at Jungian and Campbellian archetypes out there for within cultures. And they're not just within Western civilization or within cultures throughout the world, Asia, Latin America, Africa, you're going to find these same archetypes. And I think Matt, he has the trickster, but he also has some other ones. And that's what I think really anybody who would ever attempt to adapt Robert Jordan's world, one thing they would absolutely have to get right is the fact that the positive masculine, which is rebellious, which is taking risks, which is bravado. I mean, all of those things, that's why we love Han Solo. It's kind of the same archetype in some ways,
Gosh, I love that analogy that Matt might be Han Solo. He might be for the Wheel of Time.
Well, I mean, I noticed that right away when he wanted a reward. He was thinking, I'm going to get a reward for delivering this letter for Elaine.
That's his motivation for so many things. It's like, I'm going to get chicks and I'm going to get money. I mean, like, that speaks to me. It speaks to me, I mean, like, yes, why else do it,
I think that's part of the unreliable narrator thing about Matt is that, like, Matt tells himself, like,
well, yeah,
I'm only doing this for the the chicks and the fame, right? But in reality,
Han Solo tells himself that too.
Yeah. But in reality,
I mean, it works. It works regardless.
Yeah.
Well, so even if Matt isn't your favorite character, because honestly, Perrin is the best character in the series. Universally, universally, almost Matt is liked by everybody. You can't say that about any other character in the series.
Matt
Almost
is not
everybody who reads
by anyone who's responsible for making the Wheel of Time.
Right. Well, but I'm also talking about people who have read the books.
Good point.
Well,
fair play.
One of my biggest fans in the chat, she says, did you just say that is a masculine trait, Salty? Don't make me hurt you. No, but I'm saying it's a Jungian and Campbellian archetype. And I looked toward another type of a character that would kind of have that English, that intersection, and not intersectionality, but the intersection of those Jungian Campbellian archetypes. And it was Han Solo. And hail to Teresa Ms. Martin Muses. Yes is the answer to the question you asked me in Twitter. Hit me again and we'll talk about it.
I liked your Sando video, Miss Martin.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I shared that out whenever, Teresa, whenever you put a video out, I share it out to these knuckleheads and I'm like, go check out Miss Martin Muses video.
Really good thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't want to say hello, Lyle. Thanks for coming by. Hope everything goes well for you, sir.
Hail. It's good to see you, dude.
Wait,
all right, so now
what's all this Perrin love going on here?
Oh, shut up!
Because he's an awesome character, you simp.
Like we're talking about simps. Like he's a number one simp.
No,
he spends 3 books chasing somebody. Okay, we're getting off track. Let's go.
I said, can I say I had the memory of a goldfish or something? Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve.
Didn't ruin anything, but moving on. Sorry.
Steve's like, I didn't ruin anything that's actually good. I just ruined
and I would like to boycott Pips because he's out there simping for Pride Month. Look at his comments in chat. Dude, I'm going to pull a target on you, man, and totally boycott you with your agenda.
The point that I'm making is nothing that Jordan Peterson hasn't said, which is that there's a substantial overlap on all of those male-female sort of characteristics.
Sure.
All right, so let's let's keep going. Let's keep going. I don't like where this is going. All right, so let's. All right, so because of all this,
and you're too on top of us.
Because of all this, Matt's like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. We have to go. We have to go to THOR, and we have to warn them. And Tom's like, oh fuck, come on. I want to at least have a night's sleep. Like, no, we can't. We have to leave now. All right, can we at least have a meal? All right, fine. So they have a meal, and they have to get the fuck out. And luckily for them, they can find a ship that can go as fast as they can. They could pay the captain as much as they can to race there as quickly as possible. That's one of the benefits of having all this coin from being lucky, I guess. So, but here we go. So now we're done with the Matt stuff for now. And now we're with the now we're back to the accepted. So the accepted, Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine have arrived in THOR. Of course, Egwene still has her dreams. And let me see, I actually have them written down here. So apparently, Master Luhan and the White Cloaks there's a trap waiting, a toothed trap, and Master Luhan is the bait. And of course, there's Perrin with the falcon on his shoulder. We know what that means. Perrin choosing the axe or the blacksmith's hammer is another. Matt dicing with the Dark One, shouting, "I'm coming." Rand sneaking through darkness towards Kalendor, followed by 6 men and 5 women and a man with eyes of flame. I can only assume that's the Forsaken. That's being talked about. And of course, Rand is in a dusty, dry chamber with small creatures settling onto his skin. Okay, because I read the book, I think I might have an idea what this is.
Can I just bring something up real quick? Can I just say how much I liked that Robert Jordan had Egwene and Nynaeve seasick to the point of near death through a lot of what was going on when they were on the ship.
Yes.
That actually endeared them to me more. It made them more human. Now, I only get seasick if it's like the ship's about to break up, but
I don't think
my brother gets
but they were
seasick. But you know what I mean? They were hurling
the ship sucked. It just kept rocking up and down, up and down.
And like to see Nynaeve taken down a peg.
Yeah,
I kind of enjoyed that. I don't know if you guys felt that way about it.
I mean, if it wasn't that it was Egwene that got to experience Nynaeve getting taken down a peg, like if Nynaeve was in a vacuum, if she was in a forest and no one was around except for the audience, I'd be like, yeah, that's good. But the problem is the smugness of Egwene through all of those things. Like, this is probably really where, for me as a reader, I started turning against Egwene was this book. It just I hate how she, it starts out, I think Nerdporial, I think that you said this, where she kind of like sees herself as her equal now that she's an accepted too. And it's like, okay, but that's not really how the world works,
You know what I'm finding crazy? This is the first time I've really had, at least I don't know, and I don't want to speak for you guys, I really had a hard time not going forward with spoilers. Because there's so much to unpack with all of these. I mean, especially Egwene and just Frick, we got off on Perrin. We're not even talking about Matt, Egwene, Nynaeve, Perrin. There's so much. Whatever.
Dick.
But whatever. I stand by it. Whatever. It's hard because like there's so much that relates to kicks off in this book for all of them.
Yeah, but I think what we're experiencing for the first 3 books is like, on like an old fashioned wooden roller coaster, and like, you'll start out and like maybe you'll go like straight into like a little drop or something like that. There might be like something, and then you get on the big rise, and you're like just the click, 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 and you're getting up there. And this book ends like right after it dumps you over the top.
Yeah,
you just started over. You're literally in free fall right now. You got your stomach coming up, and then it's like the end of the book, and you're like,
well, and what the hell? I think that's a good point. I think that's what also helps the next 3 be just like some of the greatest writing in fantasy ever. Like the next 3 are just set up so well by the Dragon Reborn. It's freaking crazy. You're just ready for it.
You could really say the next couple of chapters to the end of the book are one very prolonged orgasmic
it's just tantric.
It's tantric orgasmic
Sting.
as far as a orgasmic inciting incident in the fantasy genre. I mean, in a lot of ways, it is a major inciting incident where suddenly it's like you've pulled the rubber band back of your slingshot.
So good, man.
And that
So
tension
good.
has been building, and then all of a sudden, boom. Rand, Matt, Perrin. I mean, you got 19. What goes on with all of it? It just goes off, and then they stumble, and then they fight against some of this stuff, and then what Perrin eventually does with Loyal. I mean, just God, yeah.
I can't comment because I haven't read those.
You're getting right at dude. If you thought you had trouble waiting like a week for this, like I noticed you skipped a week, you went right into it, like you finished it. You're gonna have a tough time, bro. Like these books start ramping up really fast, right? I mean, that it's almost like that's why the slog. I don't know. You have two mediocre books, then a big giant shit sandwich, and then you go into the final four. But sorry, I hate saying that about Wheel of Time, but Crossroads is a shit sandwich.
I think one bad book.
That's it. Well, 1 out of 14 is fine, right? You're doing
pretty good
well.
track record.
But yeah,
even the Bulls dropped one, man. Like
well, no. I'm not saying. I hate saying it, but I mean, look, if we're being fair, we're being fair. Crossroads shit sandwich. But so you're gonna stuff starts happening really, really fast.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stop. I'll just leave it there.
No, and but to your point, I mean, we're going to get into the next book, and he doesn't waste any time getting into the thick of things with the next book. The next book, perhaps more than all the others that we've read so far, just shoots out the gate. You're just kind of like, whoa, hold on, let me get my seatbelt on, please.
Trip is being just straight friggin' sadism in the chat over there.
Yes.
Have we reached the evening hour?
Her just saying should take the books away from him for a year.
Loyal is the best bro you could ever have. I'm just saying.
That's what I mean. That's why if anybody No, but if anybody ever adapts the actual book series, they have got to get Loyal right. And I don't know if we'll ever get an adaptation of this. I don't understand why Hollywood does not adapt the story written by Robert Jordan. But Loyal is
such a bro.
I freaking love Loyal. I mean,
just wants to hang out with his friends and write a book. That's it. And then fucking no one will this is a pacifist, basically. He's like, I will rip that fucker's head off. You ain't gonna buy me.
Yeah.
Sorry, where are we at?
All right, so we're still in tier, and I'm still going through Egwene's dreams.
I'm gonna be in tier for a while, buddy.
Yeah. I figure for the rest of the book.
Yeah.
So last thing I said is Rand's in the dusty. So Egwene's dreaming. So one of her dreams, she sees Rand is in a dry, dusty chamber with small creatures settling onto his skin. I think I might have an idea what's going on. I think, based on the final chapter of this book.
What was this part again? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Rand is in a dry, dusty chamber with small creatures settling onto his skin. So what I think is going on is I think he's in the waste. And he is doing something with the Aiel. And I don't know. Maybe it's like a test or something, or I don't know. But that's what I think is going to happen in the future. So, and then there's another one, Rand confronting a horde of Shan-Chan. I assume that's going to be a future event in the future book whenever the Shan-Chan return.
Yeah. So that's all read and find out. A lot of this is stuff you're sort of on it. Obviously, the Shan-Chan one sort of is, but not how you think. We'll just say that that's the best. Not so much how you think.
Okay, and and then of course there's another one where Rand confronts her, Egwene, and she's got people with her, including a Sean Chan. So once again, I have no idea. Maybe Egwene goes all mad Queen Daenerys or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, that might not be a good theory, but hey, it's a theory I have. I may have. So, but yeah, so that ends the dream. So they get off. They're in Tyr now, and the streets are all muddy. So people wear like these little lifts to keep out of the mud and everything. So I just can't help but picture like like a Western where like the roads are all muddy and everything, something like that. And of course, like you guys already mentioned earlier, so apparently Egwene and Nynaeve, there's like a bunch of tension going between the two. They're sick, and she just doesn't want to show her weakness. And Egwene is just like that. Egwene's questioning all of Nynaeve's decisions. So like, we can't go to any inns. And she's like, why not? Well, because the Black Ajah may find out where we are, and they might attack us. So it's not safe for us to be, at a known inn. So where do they go? They find she goes, and Nynaeve takes the lead, and she goes and finds the wisdom, or not the wisdom, the wise woman. So I think the difference between a wisdom and a wise woman is a wisdom can predict the weather, whereas a wise woman cannot. If I remember correctly.
I think they're just supposed to be the same thing, just some
regionally
people,
different names.
I think I don't think every wisdom is not like they're supposed to have. So like, I always took it as Nynaeve actually knew what was going on with the weather, and the other wisdoms were just judging events and guessing like a weatherman. I don't know if that's wrong, but that's how I always thought about it.
It's explicitly said in the books that most wisdoms claim to be able to listen to the wind, but most of those who claim can't really.
And Nynaeve was special because she was usually always right.
Yeah. So it's not that common even among wisdoms, but it is somewhat common, I guess. More wisdoms than regular women probably. I gotta say that this scene of the like, show me, I'll show you mine if you show me yours thing with the wise one and wisdom sort of showdown.
Yeah, it reminded me of it's weird as what I thought of was Star Trek 4 when McCoy is arguing with the 20th century doctor about how to treat Chekhov. They were testing each other and all that. So it was almost the same thing, because the wisdom's kind of like the doctor. It made sense. That's why I correlated. But yeah, you show me yours. If you show, I'll show yours. You show me mine. So yeah, I agree.
Scratch that, reverse it. But yeah.
So, but I thought that I laughed when I laughed at that, and of course there was we find out that the lady's name is Mother Gwenna. Her name is Eluin Gwenna. And there, I think it gets to a point where Elaine asks, like, Egwene gets pissed off that they're arguing like that, and then Elaine asks the woman, how do you cure two people who won't stop arguing? She's like, I'll shove their heads in barrels until they decide to stop. And so yes, we got that nice little quip right there, and then of course Nynaeve's like, okay, well, can we stay with you? We need rooms. And then of course she asks, like, why are you in here? I know you're not from here. Your accents are not Tyran.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, oh, well, we're from, I forgot if she said they're from Tar Valon, but something was stolen. And we need to find it. And they're like, and I think Mother Gwen was like, why don't you have a man with you? Why isn't the man doing this? I think. And she's like, oh, the people we're dealing with are too dangerous or something.
And then she's going to produce a reliable man to help him out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. They need to find a thief catcher. I think that's what they call them, thief catchers.
Or another, good character. We're not going to use. We can't overuse the words, but
yeah. Nynaeve said there was no one else but us. Those who might have come in our place were killed.
Oh, interesting. I forgot about that detail. Nice. But yeah, so we find out that this character, this thief catcher that they bring is Julian. His name is Julian Sandar.
Oh God, that even pisses me off more. shit! I forgot Julian was in this fucking book.
I know. I actually
What?
thought of you, Steve, when I was going back through the book, and I was like, we know who's not going to be like. Again, like if you ever adapt this book, if you ever adapt this series, there are so many important secondary and third tier characters to this show. One thing you do not want to do is combine multiple characters with different personalities.
Are they all going to be Elias? Are all the thief catchers? I'm sorry, that's another stream.
I really love the idea of combining Kieran, the thief catcher, with Sandar, the thief taker, who explicitly says he's not a thief catcher.
Yes, exactly. I just or eliminating them both and making him a wolf brother.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Julian Sandar is an extremely important character in Reborn. We'll just leave.
Okay, so that answers. I was going to ask that question. Like, I'm assuming Julian Sandar comes back. He's not going to be one of those characters that just appears in the book and then he doesn't come back.
We'll just say Julian is along for the ride. We'll just say that.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that was the case with Huron, so I was kind of disappointed here.
Yeah, I sort of. So just not to interrupt. I know for a long time, and it sounds stupid, but when I was first a kid and had like going, I got Huron and Julian mixed up every once in a while, just because while they're different, they're much different. They do things similar at points, at least for the amount of time we're with Huron. Unfortunately, I wish there was more for him, but.
100% Aldan, 100%. And Trip 2 says another one of my favorite characters. How can you forget him? I know.
I didn't forget him. I just
not you.
No, that's directed at me. Yeah, that's directed at me, and she's right. But Julian is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's so frustrating that there's a lot of these really great characters, and I think most of us we would accept not seeing some of the characters rather than this like weird kind of combining and changing and stuff like that, right? Like, for example, we made a point that Master Gil was in Tarvalon as the innkeeper in the show, right? Like, that is a stupid, asinine change, right? It's fine if we never see Master Gil, right? Like, if they had just made that change, like, okay, whatever. Like, you can imagine he's still running the Queen's blessing, and we just didn't see him, right? It's frustrating to see what we had there. And sorry, I'll move on about show stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So Julian Sandar it was interesting. You're comparing him to Aladdin. So when I was reading it, I think he was really good at what he did. But then like you could trust him for to do a good job, but you can't trust him with with a woman or to hold a relationship or something. I think that's what is that what that was generally said about him, if I remember correctly. And then when I heard that, when I read that, I thought James Bond.
Pimpin'.
Even though he's not a secret agent, but I got that James Bond because James Bond's really good at what he does business wise, but then
he's
definitely
hit it
and quit it.
He's definitely got that. He's got a lot of skills, and he's a beast on the roof and a champ under the sheets. That wasn't a good alliteration, but you know what I mean. There's so many good, and again, these are great. They're archetypes. They're archetypes of people. And I think Robert Jordan was saying this is another element. And again, that's why, like, if you ever adapt these books, these archetypes are there for a reason. They're not just names,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're there for you to deconstruct and subvert.
Yes, and gender swap because reasons.
All right. Julian shows up. No,
yeah,
not yet.
So
are we there yet? Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah. So Julian shows up and they basically it's like, oh, I'll take your job. You're women. Well, I'll help you. In case the High Lords, don't have a job for me. I can't only they could supersede this. So they tell him not to engage the people that they're after. They give him they just ask him to find out where they are, just to find them and locate them. And I think they give all the descriptions for all 13 of them. So yeah. Hero in the streets and champions in the sheets. Yeah, there you go. So
urban proclivities. Look at our man.
But yes, and so they basically they send him to track down the Black Odger, basically. So
he is so good at his fucking job too, by the way.
Oh yeah, I like how he gets. I can't wait to go into how he gets redeemed later. Well, wait, I said redeemed.
To say, is he so good at his job there, Steve? At this point in the story,
every time Steve says something, Pip's like, "Is it really? Is it really? Is it really?"
I'm getting ahead of myself. I will shut up again. Sorry.
Yeah, Steve is already on like the third part of the roller coaster. He's
that's what I'm saying. I'm having a tough time. What can I say?
All right, so we're so going forward to get this part done. So Egwene once again resumes her Tel'aran'rhiod journey with that little ring and every stone ring, and this time she goes to the heart of the stone where Kalendor is, and the 13 Black Odja are there, and I think Leandrin spots her in the dream, and then Egwene wakes up like she had a nightmare and everything. So, and she's like, "Oh fuck, they know we're here." So, yeah, they're there. So we'll see what's gonna happen. So lightning storms going on, and so shit may be going down soon. You know, I kind of liked how that was kind of, and it wasn't even the end of the chapter. At least, or was it the end of the chapter? I don't know. But it wasn't. It goes into Matt now. So we're now in the same chapter, but this time from Matt's point of view. And so they get to tier pretty quick. Like I said earlier, they get to tier pretty quickly because of the funds. Yeah. And so they get off the ship, and they what's funny is they pass. They're in the same area where Egwene and the rest of them are. They actually see the house. How is the house described? It has the herbs on the window. It's herbs displayed on the window, and they see that. But Matt doesn't think of it, and let's just say he kicks himself for it later.
It's because it's such a ghetto area. He couldn't imagine the girls being there.
No, he thought they were going to be staying at inns. You know,
which to be honest, like, is a hilarious part of the story of like him just imagining Elaine, and then like the women's perspectives on. Like, I love it. You know, when you have two characters. And he does this a lot where, you know, there will be a female POV and then a male one. And both of them will be sitting there talking about, like, you know, because men can't keep their mouths shut. They just talk with all their boys about stuff. And then the guy will be like, yeah, women just love to gossip. And then, you know, talk all this nonsense. And, you know, say what you will. Some people say Robert Jordan can't write women or whatever. Like, I think he does a really good job writing at least how men and women see each other.
I think
you can maybe argue a little bit less that he like really nails how they actually are, but he nails the heck out of like how we see each other.
I think I don't know. Just I think there. Yes, I think I agree completely with what you just said, but I think there's a little bit of compensation because women have been running the world, so they always think they're right a lot. So I think that might be where it's like.
Are we talking about real life, or are we talking about?
I'm talking
Robert. Robert. Yeah,
the Wheel of Time. I mean, come on.
I just meant it still sounds like real life.
Well, now, but you know,
Trip.
But we did actually. I think we missed, unless I missed it completely. But Aldan mentions a scene that I don't think we discussed. Elaine stalking across the room and smacking Egwene.
It is fucking so epic. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because she basically says out loud, "Oh, you're as good as manipulating people as Moraine." And like, and that just like that she's just like, what? Like she goes completely. I think she goes completely white hearing that, because you know how. I mean, we all know as the reader, we all know how she feels about Moraine. Like she blames Moraine for all this. Like this is like her anger, her source of her rage, her Sith powers comes from her hatred for Moraine. That's where she's getting her power to be Aes Sedai from. That's what she's drawn.
This is a little bit of a spoiler, but like series high point for the character of Elaine.
All downhill from there. Sorry, my bad.
But that's a good point, because what she does, like like it's not even a hesitation. Like she recognizes how much that hurt Nynaeve, and she just immediately came to her defense.
Yeah,
and just fucking wails on Elaine. I love it.
and I think that's also part of what makes Egwene so obnoxious, and we talked about it already, is suddenly she's got this newfound parity with who was her former wisdom and still felt subservient to her. And now it's like, well, I'm going to give it back to you, the stuff that you did when we were younger, and took it a little too far. I mean, to tell Nynaeve that she's like Moiraine. Like, again, if you ever adapt these books, it's really important to get the casting and characterization of both of these women, all of these women, correct.
You know what's an interesting
steal the names.
Sorry,
no, I'm done. I'm done.
What I was going to say is what's interesting. I'd never thought of this before, so I'd like to get your guys' take on this. Like, one of the reasons I think this scene resonates so well is like, who among us has never in a moment of anger said that thing to a friend that like crossed a line? And honestly, like, we probably wish that we had somebody that could just smack the shit out of us in that moment, because you feel so terrible. Like you say it and you realize how much it hurt that person. And like, you were just mad. Right. And it's kind of an interesting dynamic that like Egwene probably thanked Elaine for like on the spot correcting.
Yeah. Well, and it just that kind of correction, you have true friends when you can sit there and have something like that occur. That it's nothing personal to sit there and beat the shit out of your friend to get them to get their head on straight, pull their head out of their ass.
Yes.
And and after how Egwene has been acting throughout this book, especially in her treatment of Nynaeve, to finally have it come in, not even half cocked, it's a full blow, bam.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, fuck yes, it is about time. This is 10 chapters, 12 chapters overdue.
Yeah. Aldan nails it. Says, dude, everyone reading this book in that moment wanted her to smack Eggy in the chops. It's true.
Elaine was she was channeling some toxic masculinity.
Well, I don't know. I've known plenty of very feminine women that can hit really effing hard. I'm just gonna say that, especially other chicks. What was I gonna say on that one? God damn it, I totally spaced it. It doesn't matter.
All right, let's keep this going. So we're already an hour in. So Matt and Tom have arrived in Tyr, and they start going. It's already I believe it's the same night, that thunderstorm. It's raining, and Tom actually starts developing a cough. So they have to. So they go to this, and they sign in. Sorry, they check in, have a meal, and then I think the both of them go and they try to look. They ask around about the women. They ask around about Komar, and of course Tom's with him and is telling him stories just to make it look normal. And he's like, what we're gonna do one more. They haven't found anything. They haven't had any luck. So he's like, okay, one more. We're gonna do one more, and then we'll call it a night. And they go to this one. They go to this one in the Golden Cup, and who do they find? They find Komar, and not only that, Komar makes the perfect villain for Matt, because Komar is also a master dicer too, and he's winning every toss. So he's obviously cheating. And I think Tom actually tells Matt like, "Oh, it could be weighted dice," and he showed a sleight of hand. He showed how how he could swap the dice really quickly and make it not seem like he's cheating. So,
yeah, something else. And again, I'm not going to derail it, but I believe the district was called Mall or Malay. How the hell did you guys say it? Where that was that rundown place right near where they got off the boat, Matt and Tom. How the hell did you guys?
The mall.
Okay, I always called it the mall too. Is that if you're ever to adapt this show, the reason, if you're going to have people wear platform shoes, which kind of have stilts on them, it's because the mud was so thick there that they had to stay above the mud. Now, you would not wear those types of shoes, say, in a desert. Just had to get that out there. So,
yeah, that's true. kind of makes me think of I think Japanese during the day wore those type of shoes too, especially
Gloves.
during the Tokugawa era, I believe. So especially if you watch enough Kurosawa or even Lone Wolf and Cub, you see them wearing those type of shoes, especially when they're traveling and everything. So but yeah, I just thought of that now. So but going back, so Matt's like, oh, he's obviously cheating. He tells the innkeeper, call the defenders, and they're like, call the defenders. Whose word are they going to take, yours or a rich foreigner? Not going to take yours.
Yeah.
So they went with they're like, no, there's nothing. So Matt goes in, Matt plays him, and he keeps him from changing the dice. So he grabs the dice right away to try to catch him in the act. But the thing is, he didn't have to do that because he won the toss anyways against him. And so not only that, but he actually baits Komar into revealing that he didn't find Elaine and Egwene and the rest of them yet. And then that's when a fight breaks out. And I'm not sure exactly how he breaks his back. I don't know if it wasn't really I don't think it was described well when I read it. So I had to reread. I'm like, how did Matt kick him into the table, and that's how he breaks his back or something? And well, Komar dies, and before he dies, he says something. Oh, there's other people looking for them. I'm not the only one. Like that, typical villainy and everything. So I thought that was an interesting. I was not expecting that to happen. So I was not expecting him to happen in that chapter. I'll be honest.
That whole scene, though, I mean, and I think this is where Robert Jordan, and again, this is just my reader's perspective, is that I think he's showing you how dangerous this world is, because, I mean, this is a city in collapse. And not only that, like, people are having bad dreams, there's a lot of tension, the economy's collapsing, there's war, rumors of war, all this types of stuff. And then you've got stuff like this going on in an inn. And these are not the types of inns that Matt and Rand played for money. In the eye of the world. And that's something that I appreciate, is showing you the evolution and how the farther they get away from his field, in the deeper they get into this, the more dangerous and crazy it is.
I liked how they talked about how the prices went up because of I think it was because of the Civil War in Kyrian that Maryland started.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And everybody's like completely dejected, subdued, and they've given up. And I don't know if it was Matt that was thinking of this, or somebody, one of the characters was thinking, well, as I think it was Nynaeve actually, is like, if this happened in the Two Rivers, they just get themselves back up and
why don't they help themselves? That's that's pretty much what is why are you just letting this happen to you? And again, it shows Nynaeve, and again, it shows the frame of reference that these really were country folk, with an ethno state that had shared values, which was work hard, and pull yourself up. Am I talking too much again, Trip? Sorry about that.
No, don't worry about that. So going back, so basically, as a result, the innkeeper is like, okay, I'll just give the description of the man who's been in my dreams. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the innkeeper was dreaming of Rand, of all people. Everybody's been dreaming of Rand, so I think it's interesting how everybody it's just interesting how that him traveling around has been. That's the effect that he's had on people, just dreaming. It's so weird when you think. I
love it. I love, because it really does bring the menace part of the Dragon Reborn. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of what I like, is it's this continual burn of where Rand goes, he starts affecting people, like his being there, and the dragon really is a big deal. And you start to see it. You do, Yeah. Go ahead.
Before we move on, there's one thing that I want to highlight here, because it was an interesting conversation that we had on the Discord with this scene, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm convinced, but I think it's a really interesting take, and I think there's a lot of value to it. So here's the line that is in the book here, right? So he's tossing the dice, the final dice toss with Komar, right? So it says he, being Matt, spilled the dice onto the tabletop. They bounced oddly. He felt something shifting. It was as if his luck had gone wild. The room seemed to be writhing around him, tugging at the dice with threads. For some reason, he wanted to look at the door, but he kept his eyes on the dice. They came to a rest, 5 crowns. Komar's eyes looked ready to pop out of his head, right? So the question that was brought up was that actually Matt's luck, or is that word that for some reason he wanted to look at the door was Rand walking past the inn?
That is, I thought about that when I read the book too. I mean, was Rand unconsciously affecting all of these things? You know?
Well,
so it's just one more of those like super interesting layers. Like it's Matt's luck, but even like an even stronger Taviran comes by, and it's like his luck had gone wild. It turbocharged it, and
he sees Rand right before this. Like so he's Rand and doesn't think, and he doesn't think of it. He's like, oh, that can't be him.
I mean, my question is does it even have to be him walking by or just in the city?
So we know he's in the city.
So that's what I'm saying is Rand is in the city. Things are going to start happening. Yep. I mean, that's just how it works around him, right? So, sure. I mean, you know, it's one of those. I think that the subtle hint that he's looking towards the door and Matt can sense something is beyond even just his regular, mojo is going on. I think it was double improved Matt luck because of a multiplier.
I agree.
Is it because of just being Taviran?
Double Taviran, baby.
Yeah. With a shared objective. Yep. You know, and it's kind of like the unconscious passive energy, that was combining to produce an outcome to achieve the same goal.
No, I don't think it's what I think it was, of course, Matt's luck, but I think it's Rand magnifying it.
Yeah.
Like, so I think it's a combination of both. I mean, he's in there dicing, obviously something happened. So
here's the reason I don't think it's Matt's. Here's the reason I don't think it's Matt's luck. And I think I was originally on the other side of this when we had the conversation in the Discord. We know that Matt's, we'll say luck or his knack or whatever it is, works on things that are chance, right? So it's not as good as at cards. It's better on dice. It's better at things that are truly random, right?
Yeah.
A rigged set of dice is not random.
That's true. Absolutely.
So he's using a rigged set of dice, and it comes up with a extremely improbable, almost impossible result.
Yeah, that feels more Rand than
Matt.
That's
why I think that that I think it might actually have been Rand and not Matt.
I mean okay.
Well, both, right?
But
so the improbable outcome made it not be just the rigged dice, and then Matt's luck made it be the winning toss.
Yeah, well, so I still think it's a combination of both, but like, how probable is it for a coin to land on its side multiple times in a row?
Yeah.
So the things that are improbable happen around Matt when it's just Matt. But I'm just playing. That's just me throwing out that. I agree with you. I think it ran through Matt with both of them sort of intermingling and saying "fuck you."
So do we need a poll?
Yeah, you should do a poll.
Sure.
Yeah. So by the way, Talonvor is a Chad or a simp? 50-50 out of 12 votes.
Perfect.
That's funny.
That's funny. That's right.
All right.
I think I called it then. I said he's at best 60% Chad. So I think being 50% Chad, I mean, hey.
Wow.
Hey, it's still pretty okay. Okay. Pretty good.
We're not an echo chamber here, are we?
So I think this is probably going to be split right down the middle too, because just in chat we got Matt's luck, we got Rand with Matt's luck even more lucky.
All right, it's up. So it's is Matt in the weighted dice, his own luck, or Rand's influence?
Well, and I think the key answer to this. To sway this vote is how often is this same kind of situation described this way, as opposed to
other times it's
some luck.
It's just Matt, and that's why I feel the way that it was. Again, I still think it was 80% Matt, but I think Rand was that 20% because, like Pip said, the dice were rigged, and I think Rand definitely had a hand in making this result. It's not to steal from Matt. I really
the sentence, and it was as if his luck had gone wild. So there's still a recognition of the luck being involved, but there was just that added bit of crazy to it.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to point out, I don't think any one of us is saying that it's not a combination of the two. Yeah. So
no, I think it's Matt supercharged with double Taveran, multiplier. I think that's just all it is.
The important thing is I just think that it's a really it's a subtle thing that is presented to you. Again, like all it is this whole thing is going on, and Salty's point again, like the world around them is happening. Yeah. And so, like, if you're not paying attention to it, it was just Matt and his luck, right?
Well, again, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Rand is in town. You've got Aiel on the roof. You got all this stuff going on. You got Nynaeve and Egwene and Elaine like a couple blocks away. All of these things are in flight. All of these things are happening. And
does Matt's luck ever go wild again? Like, is it ever described as going wild again in the series? I guess is sort of like what Matt or what Nathan alluded to, like the wording.
Read and find out, Prophet.
I'm trying to remember if it's worded that way. Well, I mean, come on.
No, slap him with your manhood.
I'm just trying to think, so I guess that's true. Wow. Sorry.
All right, so let's keep this going. We're getting close. So Pip's already brought this up. So Matt's luck works at random. So that's why dice works better than cards and doesn't even work at all with stones or weighted dice. So, one thing we learn is they continue to search for the girls, but Tom's cough gets worse and worse. So they go back, and I think Matt actually had dreams of Rand himself. He dreams of Rand and a man weaving a net. So I'm like, weaving a net, what does that mean? So, and what's funny is during the read, I don't think I figured it out, but then I was taking notes for this, and I was like, okay. All right. So, but we shift over to Perrin now.
It's a trap.
So Perrin and everybody have arrived at Tyr, and I think it's them that notice that the people are, looking really defeated and everything. Of course, we still, Fael and him are still bickering, and they go to so once again more inns. They go to another inn. They stay at a different inn. They stay at the Star Inn. Sounds like a real place too when you think about it. And Moraine tells them to just stay around the inn, don't go anywhere. So her and Lan, I think, are going out to investigate. So Perrin, in the meantime, there's right by the inn, there's a blacksmith, and he goes to the blacksmith, and he sees that the master smith is working by himself, and he asks, like, is there anything I could do to help? And he's like, yeah, I need this piece of metal worked. So Perrin, I liked how Robert Jordan goes into really great detail about the blacksmithing process. Like, just talks about everything. And Perrin knows how to do everything thanks to his apprenticeship with Master Luhan in the Two Rivers. So he gets. So what was so cool seeing this was
question. What about his wife?
Oh God.
Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
How good of a blacksmith is she?
I think I had a traumatic brain injury. Never mind.
No. He gave her the axe.
Oh
shit. Jesus Christ. Oh, we're not talking about that thing.
This is one of my favorite scenes, though. I mean, this to me is when I really started to like Perrin a lot. This whole thing that's going on with him in finding himself and finding the peace in blacksmithing, which is something that he loves, and then of course the symbology of other things that happen with this character.
Yeah. So. And I just loved how we find out that the reason why all the apprentices, so he had like a few apprentices, this master smith, Dermot Ajala is his name. We find out that they all had nightmares, and the nightmares were so bad that they didn't come into work. They just, so I'm assuming Rand, once again, Rand's influence is everywhere in this, in this part. So, Well, let's just say.
Wait.
What?
That's not Rand.
No.
No.
It is not.
Right. It's not
What
Rand.
did I miss? What did I
The
miss?
dreams are not
the
Rand.
dreams that they were having were
The
not.
bad dreams are absolutely 100% not Rand.
Correct.
Okay.
They are another person that is involved in the Stone of Tyr, who is actually running Tyr.
Yes.
Oh.
But it's a good deflection kind of what it previously had been with Rand's influence before they get to Tyr.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So the High Lord Salmon. Jeez.
There you go. Yep.
Man. Jeez.
Dill with salmon. Yeah.
Yeah, Dill. Yeah, there you go. So what I liked was so this Master Smith basically says, Perrin, he says to Perrin, you are a master of what you do. And I'd love you could feel free to come back and do anything you want. And to show appreciation, here's this hammer. You can keep this hammer that you were using. So Perrin has a hammer now along with his axe.
Hell yeah.
that he keeps with him. And Perrin wonders maybe one day he'll be a blacksmith again. So
I love the moment when he gets the hammer. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's just something about that whole scene and the peace that he feels and the satisfaction he gets from crafting things. And in some ways it kind of feels like the boy that left Emmons Field. To me, in my own reading, the way I saw it was that the boy that left Emmons Field is now a man. He is a man. Yep. And he's not only capable of running and some of the weird wolf stuff that we all know about, but he's also a man in his own right in that he can craft things, he can make things, he can fix things. And I think to me that's really where I don't know. It has a dude. It's almost like a rite of passage. Like you are now a man.
A master of his craft as well. Like it's reinforced by somebody that doesn't even know him.
Yes.
Doesn't even know him, just picked up a hammer and started forging. So
yeah,
just shows you the type of training he actually got in Emmons Field with Master Lewin and just how good at it he really is. He's Rand's a blade master, Perrin is a blacksmithing master, and
I thought Rand was a sheep burger.
Matt is a master of dice. Well, they want to pretend he is.
Yeah. And most importantly, what this continually does is you have Perrin thinking a lot about Emmons Field, but now you have this physical thing that anchors him at home. Yeah. So I mean, and I put it in the comments too. His heart never leaves Emmons Field. He's always focused back there, and so I mean, he is kind of like that home buddy kind of man that is always focused on his beginnings.
Well, so real quick, so I don't know anything about blacksmithing, but I think it was probably listed as heavy to just show how much of a beast that Perrin really is.
Yeah.
Whereas, a normal man would not be able to use a hammer of that size. Perrin just does.
But that
was 10 pounds.
It's a natural evolution of the description we got of Perrin starting in the Eye of the World, which he is a big, imposing dude. And what was he always told? Act slowly because you're so big you can hurt somebody. Like it deliberately, he would think about things before he acted because he knew he was much larger. He could
hurt somebody. He could break something. And
people interpreted him as being stupid when really he was being reflective before he came in and crushed your skull.
Only stupid people interpret him as stupid. I should say.
Yeah, well, if you ever cast this guy for an adaptation, you definitely don't want somebody who's, say, as tall as Rand.
You really want a person with their mouth just constantly hanging open.
With a fly strip, so that the flies are drawn in. Yeah.
The thing that I want to say about this scene, and one of the reasons that I really like it, all the same things that you guys have been saying, is I think that Perrin's fundamental character conflict is the warring impulse to build and sort of create, and to destroy and enact violence and destruction and stuff, right? Like he has both of those two things within him more than I think any of the other characters. You see it a bit with Rand as well. And I don't want to say how that manifests because it goes into spoilers. But Perrin, that's like the core thing that he does. Rand is really about duty and obligation and some other stuff, right? Matt has his own kind of conflicts, but that's Perrin in a nutshell. Is his own kind of yin yang is those two forces.
Yeah, Perrin, I mean, like the one thing that Elias tells him is like the best thing you can do is like, you have the means to kill. You're strong enough, you know how to use the axe. It's the idea of resisting the impulse to kill, which is what really stood out to me with him.
I just want to remind where Perrin started in this book and where he is towards the end, right? So he went beast mode and was like ripping the throats out of Trollocs, like had like blood on his mouth, like killed a
Myrddraal. He killed a Myrddraal.
And then you see in the same book, you see the opposite facet of his character. And I think it's one of within a single book, the character arc that we see in Perrin is just fantastic.
I'm reminded of the scene in Apocalypse Now where the photographer talks about Colonel Kurtz, and he says he's a warrior poet in the classical sense. And to me, I mean, Perrin to me was this warrior monk poet. You know what I mean? Where he did have this soul, and he was really good in physical space, and he was really good using his hands. Where I saw Rand as, yes, he's a master swordsman, but he is really in his head. Rand is really in his head a lot, and dealing with a lot of complex things. That doesn't mean he can't be a man of action. And then you've got Matt, who's in his head in some ways, but he's also very much a physical, emotional, sensual, not sexual, but sensual being. I don't know. That's why I like Perrin. In some ways, I wouldn't say he's a druid or a cleric, but I think he does have that more metaphysical, slow to react thing going on. Again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Great text. Thanks for sharing all this. I know we're hour 40 in, and we have to get this shit done.
Shut up.
So Moraine comes back, and we find out, and my prediction was correct, completely correct, because I'm just that good. The High Lord Salmon is a Forsaken, just like the High Lord Brand, I think, in Ilion was. So High Lord Brand was Samael. Well, here the High Lord Salmon is Balal, and they believe that he wants to lure Rand to the heart of the stone so that he can possess Kalendor for himself. And we find out Kalendor is supposedly the most powerful Sa'angreal that's been ever made. And they're like, well, what do we do? Are we going to run this time? They're like, no, we're going to fight. And they're like, I think they asked Loyal like what they know about what he knows about Balal. And he's like, Balal is the net weaver. I like, there you go, net weaver. Matt had that dream where Rand and this guy are weaving something. So it's obviously setting up a confrontation between Rand and Balal. So. And I can't wait to talk about that, because the Rand and Balal thing that happens later, I couldn't help but think of Star Wars. I couldn't help but think of a lightsaber fight, red saber versus black saber. That's how it felt. Imagine if you had a lightsaber fight, but it got interrupted by Moraine, and I'm kind of going ahead of myself, but that's kind of how it was. So
yeah, we are getting ahead of ourselves, because we have a Moraine chapter in here first, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, so we find out a little bit about Balal. Balal basically felt inferior to Luce Theron and Ishamael. And so Balal's main motivation is he wants power. He wants to be above those who he feels lesser than.
Pathetic worm.
So, yeah, that's basically what he is. So, so Moraine and Lan decide to go in alone, and she reveals that she knows after what we saw with the hounds, she reveals that during the events of the Great Hunt, she knows how to weave balefire. So, and I think earlier balefire Like if you use balefire, like you can get kicked out, you can be stilled, I believe,
Yep.
by the
Everything,
thing.
yeah.
Now I don't think it was explained why. I'm assuming this is a read and find out. So,
I never saw any indication where she learned how to do it, but maybe I missed it.
I'm assuming it was during the Great Hunt because like you only see her in one chapter. And then you don't see her to the very end.
I have a suspicion about it, and I don't know that it is ever verified or backed up in any way. It seems like the kind of thing you might learn from reading some super old dusty books in a little cottage house along the Blight.
Understood.
You know, because that's the only thing that makes any sense. Like no other Aes Sedai would have taught it to her, right? Like you would never admit to another Aes Sedai that you know how to do it.
No.
So like, I don't know how a book teaches you how to weave. That's maybe an interesting conversation. Like,
could give you the ideas what
but yeah, it could.
What's like spirit, fire, whatever you needed, and then then she'd have to practice. So I don't know how many walls she obliterated. But.
That's a hilarious idea. The idea of Moraine just like standing out in the woods at night, like just
blowing shit up,
just blowing up tin cans and stuff. But that also like 100% seems like the kind of thing that Van Dien and Adelius would have in their collection of just like forbidden lore.
I would assume they know too, and just don't do it. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's an assumption.
They might not be strong enough to be able to do it.
That's true too. That doesn't mean they don't know. Yeah, sorry.
Gadfly
like
fiction
comment right here.
Yeah.
How many Aes Sedai in the series have their little
all
secrets that they do not tell their sisters anything about? Yeah,
every single one of them.
So an interesting thing there, though, is that it's kind of explained in the books, like the type of little secrets that the Aes Sedai have, which is they fall into one of two categories. If you remember, they are kind of like compulsion, or they're kind of like eavesdropping, because those are the types of things that a little girl might come up with uses for the one power with, right? I know, Trip, you're going to get upset that that women apparently eavesdrop and compel people, but I didn't say that. I'm not saying that. Robert Jordan, a scholar of the human condition, said that.
Well, to be fair, Bilal's sort of compelling a whole city right now. Just saying, a little bit.
Yeah,
because he's a Chad like that. I mean,
that's true. That is true, though. So only Chads do cities. Women do people, right? Okay, sorry, my bad.
Not very Chad like to feel inferior to people. So So all right. So but yeah, the one other thing that's brought up that's I think important here is that Lan has spotted he spotted like a couple of Aiel on the rooftops. He's like, if I was able to spot a few Aiel, that means there's a whole bunch of them out there. So so something's going down. So and then I think Perrin remembers the thing that Gaul, the one that the Aiel in the cage said to him.
Gaul.
When the stone of Tyr falls, the Aiel will leave the threefold land. So they were like, okay, well, what roles do they have to play in this prophecy since they're not mentioned? So that's what Moraine is wondering. So things are converging on Tyr as we're speaking. So that, I think this is really building up, and then it gets even bigger next chapter, Nynaeve. So Nynaeve is I think shopping, and she thinks she spots Rand, and so she spots Rand across the street, and you get the typical cinematic technique where you have the cart or the car go past the screen, and then the character vanishes. That's exactly what happens here.
They actually adapted this perfectly in episode 7 of the Wheel of Prime, except it was Padden Fane in Feldara for some reason.
I don't know. I did you hear something? I didn't hear anything. So
no, I character in the wrong place in the wrong setting and context. So perfect adaptation for Rafe Judkins.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. So let's keep going. So we got so Nynaeve sees Rand. So Rand is definitely so not only Matt saw him, but now Nynaeve saw him. So we know for a fact that Rand isn't here. So just it's funny that nobody's really spotted him, or maybe they haven't. I'm curious. I'm curious, like how he hasn't been like reported for just being there or something. or maybe Bilal left specific orders not to harass him, to let him to wait for him to come into the stone so that they can lure him in and all that. So, well, speaking of luring him, we find out that Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine are the bait after all, because, well, as this happens, Nynaeve gets approached by what's his name? What the hell? Sandar? Yeah, Sandar. Julian finds her and says, he says, hey, the Aja are actually guests of the High Lord Salmon, and he's like, we have to go and talk about this inside. And so they go back to Lady Gwenna's place, and holy shit, Lady Gwenna's sitting there, and it's a trap. It's a trap.
That whole scene was really good. I liked that whole scene, and I liked the violence of it, and I liked evil is evil. Like, it takes delight in causing harm,
Yeah.
and that's one thing Robert Jordan is so good at, is evil, and just the bitch slapping that goes on in there, I think is I do think, again, it was one of those senses of the girls kind of walked into something they weren't ready for. They overestimated their capacity to a certain degree. And that's what I got out of that scene. I don't know about Steve, who's crunching on mute over there, or what Nathan, who's puffing over there, think, but that's one of the, I had a little bit of joy, actually, in watching Nynaeve and Egwene and the girls kind of like get their ass handed to them, because they're messing around and stuff that they think that they know what they're doing, and they don't.
They're way in over their head, and they think they're fine. They think they're fine. They think they, Egwene's all, trying to take charge and contradicting everything, and Nynaeve, even though Nynaeve is way in over her head. She and the girls, for that matter, pretty much looking to Nynaeve because she's the oldest to be guiding them, and Nynaeve's got no idea what she's doing, but she's pretending she is, which is worse, right? So I think a little bit of a smackdown is warranted, to sort of like, I think only one of them really sort of takes it to heart, but and learns from it. But yeah.
Well, and it's also, I like how the White Tower sends the Amyrlin sends them to do this stuff. Take on these assignments, and it goes to show you just how underprepared a lot of times the good side is, and how they need to rise to an occasion. So there's kind of like this, the evil comes in and fills the vacuum, and the good has to respond. And it's not like the good can stay prepared. There's always, this is throughout history, the good will be in power, and then it just starts to ebb. And it gets filled, and you just have people rise up to meet it, and it's a really good way to present it in the book.
We're going to be going through that real quick in real life. What happens is you have a good system that ends up becoming only a complex system that seeks to make itself ever expanding and more complex, which has parasites on it. Now, I do think if you look at the White Tower, you can use that same analogy. I think that's what was happening, and that's why the Amyrlin seat was out there freelancing with Moiraine and doing stuff. But, and that's why she's sending these kids out to take on the Black Aja. She couldn't trust anybody, dude.
I think that's perfect right there. Is you're sending 3 girls because you're the only ones that you know for sure are not, you can trust, are not bad. This is 3 brand new girls. Like, everything that happens to Siuan, like, pretty much she deserved. I'm not gonna say go further there, but
read and find out.
But like, it's so. She basically sent them to die and didn't even think, and thinks like it's so, when you think about it, it's so just bad what Siuan did to those 3 girls, even though they're just we could go do it. It's like you're sending 3 novices basically, and one sort of accepted, to fight the most dangerous people on the planet.
I want to push back just a little bit, in that, like, I agree with what you guys are saying, in that it's very revealing for the types of tools that Siuan had available and how little she felt she could trust the other Aes Sedai. which is like a really damning indictment on the White Tower, obviously, right? Like the fact that among all of the Aes Sedai, the only people she could actually feel confident in
not even
was
Aes Sedai,
Moraine
yeah.
and these three chuckleheads, right?
They're not even Aes Sedai, yeah. Sorry,
so like that's all fair. But I think at the end of the day, like, you know, if you are, you know, end game existential threat, right? Like the board is set. This is the final round. You throw everything you have. And like even if you know that like, hey, all I got is a freaking, you know, an offhand jab, I'm still throwing that at you. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Pips, and I mean, and within the context of the story, obviously it makes sense. But I mean, if you take a step back from it, I mean, it really does show you how infiltrated the tower was,
Yes.
which may or may not be illustrated in other books. We'll just.
I mean, I'm not saying you don't use every tool. I mean, of course, she does. I think it's more of an insight into Suwan, as she doesn't care if they die. She needs them to accomplish a mission.
I agree with that.
No, she doesn't care. If she cared, she would send them. They're tools. They are tools.
I agree.
She uses them.
I think both things can be true, right? So like she can view them as tools, and she says that,
tools.
But she does also, like, you get some insight into the fact that like she regrets having to use them, and she regrets the danger that they're put into.
She sent children to fight Forsaken.
Sure, and my point. Well, no, she sent them to follow the
Black Aja,
which are agents of the Forsaken. I mean, like, let's take like I don't care if her inner monologue is, man, I hope they don't die so they accomplish what I need them to accomplish. It doesn't matter. That'd be like me sending Ryan and Bella to go fight freaking in a war right now because, well, everybody else is spent.
And what I'm trying to tell you is that I'll give you an illustrative example, right? So say all I really need is for the enemy to be delayed. I don't need to stop them. I just need to delay them. And so all I have is I got 2 lance corporals who I can say, go set up an ambush on that hill up there. Do I not care that they are going to get overrun and killed? No, I absolutely care. But if I don't slow them down, I don't
think she cared about them one bit.
Everybody else
I think she cared if they accomplished their mission and slowed them down.
I'm just telling you that I think that the idea that a commander doesn't care about the lives of their troops is not. I don't think that's correct. And I think that when you look at her as she is a commander, and you have to be cold enough to let people die on behalf of the larger picture. Otherwise, you will lose the battle. You will. And so we see that she is cold and she is calculating.
Hold on. They are not in a military organization. They went to the White Tower to learn how to channel. They are not soldiers. They are not even in the army yet. They're in basic training.
They're Girl Scouts.
They're Girl Scouts. They're Girl Scouts enlisting in a school. So it's the same. So it's the same thing. It's like, I mean, so yeah, they're thrust into battle. And I'm not saying that she wants them to die, but the fact that they've taken 3 students who haven't even barely been on the tower grounds to learn anything, she pulls them in a room and goes, "You're the only 3," which is a complete indictment on the White Tower. You're the only 3 people that I can trust to go after the worst people on the planet that are so bad that the people in the White Tower won't even admit that they exist. I'm going to send you to take care of this. These are first-year students. Not even.
Look at Forsaken, says 3 of the most powerful, though. Okay, let me finish the quote.
Sorry, go ahead.
And connected to the Dragon Reborn. Now, I'm coming from the place. This would be like taking Tom Brady as a freshman in high school with great potential and putting him into the NFL without the later high school and collegiate experience to train him to take the hits and to be able to stand in a game. I mean, now, I get what both of you guys are saying, but I still think it was a sign of desperation. And I think these are Girl Scouts. These aren't even Eagle Scouts and the Boy Scouts. You know,
Salty, I think you and I agree then, because I think it is a sign of desperation. It's a sign of the corruption of the tower. I don't think it is a sign of like moral failure on Swan's part, which is I feel like where Steve is going, like she's a bad person for doing this.
She's
I
a
don't think she's a bad
horrible
person.
for
I
doing
think she is a desperate person.
She's a horrible
I
person.
agree. I agree. But I mean, she had. Okay.
I don't care if they.
See,
All right,
but-
all right,
but-
all right,
yeah,
gentlemen.
yeah,
We
we'll
have to.
talk about.
We're
This
2
is a
hours
great
in.
conversation.
We're
It's a
2
great
hours in. We
conversation,
gotta.
but this is Nerdtorial show. So yeah,
Yeah,
I, sorry about that.
we're 2
Nerd
hours
fight.
in. We'll continue. We'll continue the fight in another arena or something. So, but yeah, thanks for it's stuff like this that needs to be discussed. So, all right. So far I haven't gotten far enough, so I can't really comment personally, but I can't wait to find out, and then I'll share my thoughts on this very debate. So, but. So Leandrin and Rihanna basically come in, and they're just like, we're here and we're evil and we're here to capture you. And was there Gwenna? If you say anything, we'll let you live if you don't say a word. And I like how Rihanna's like, why don't we just kill her? Well, let's kill her. And Leandrin's like, no, we can't just kill because you can, it doesn't work like that. And one thing was, because Leandrin pulled her shit in the last book, I think Nynaeve managed to get a punch out of this. So she punched her in the fucking face.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But I love how they feel at the end of this book, because let's just say pesky Leandrin gets away again. So they're like, we want to fucking we want to fuck her up. So they get caught. So they get captured. They use air to basically punch down Nynaeve and everything. They punch down Egwene, and and we find out that the same thing that Leandrin used on what was her name? What was the lady's name from Agelmar's sister? I forgot her name. She used Amelisa. She used compulsion on Sandar, and that's why Sandar led them into that trap where he quote unquote betrayed them.
Okay, Leandrin. Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just remembering Agelmar's sister being burned to a crisp in a shitty fantasy show that I watched one time. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh boy. So
I am Vendel's quote is the correct one there. That's where we remember Amelisa from.
The savior of Eldara. Oh yeah, that's right. All right,
crispy critter.
Let's never bring that up again. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
So they're taken away to the stone. So they're taken away to the stone. They are the bait, and we find out they're going to be interrogated. And then I think they have 13 Murdral there. We're going to turn them into shadow. So I think that there's a 13 Ice to Die and 13 Murdral can convert someone into shadow or something. I forget exactly what that was. It was brought up. I think it was brought up earlier in this book during one of Egwene's little things. Egwene's little what do you call it? Her accepted trial. One of the trials.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a read and find out. So so they're caught. So we're now back to Matt, and we find out Tom has gotten even sicker. It's been a few days. Tom's gotten even sicker, and his cough's gotten way worse. And Matt's like, we have to do something. I have to do something. This is not going to go away by itself. So he's like, Tom, get your ass up. We're gonna go see the wisdom. And he's like, no, I don't want to taste their shit. I don't want to drink that. I don't want to deal with this shit. No way. It's like, dude. He's like, dude, you're gonna get the fuck up. You're coming with me, and we're gonna go see her. And so so like once again, Matt is Matt's pretty much a Chad here at this point. He's telling Tom what to do now. So he sees the herbs in the window, and so he happens upon Lady Gwenna, and basically he sees Mother Gwenna. Sorry, excuse me. And he sees the tracks from the carriages that took the girls away, but he doesn't know what they are. He doesn't understand the context. But Gwenna finds out that his reason why he was able to get wind of their situation is because of his accent. Gwenna reveals that, I've heard that accent before. A few people here before had the same accent. And then she described it as like, holy shit, I'm looking for them. Where are they? And she's like, I can't say because they'll kill us. So they'll kill me. The High Lords will come after me for saying it.
Yeah.
And I guess with luck, he manages to convince her, and she tells him that they were caught, and that he's got to figure out how to get to the stone of Tyr, this big, massive stone of Tyr, and get in there and rescue them. And Tom's like, I'm going to go with you. You're like, oh, no, can't go. Tom is out of the loop. So Matt has to go alone.
There's another interesting moment between the dialogue and then the wisdom. And again, the wisdom's powers were different than Nynaeve's power were. It was interesting when Nynaeve asked her, what do you hear from the wind? That wisdom there had no ideas what the hell she was talking about. And I appreciated that world building, that different wisdoms have these different, I don't know, innate powers or abilities to bond with nature or whatever you want to call it. But there's an interesting comment with that particular wisdom who says that she didn't understand why the Lord, who basically hated the Aes Sedai, was consorting with these women who were obviously Aes Sedai. And I just thought that was really kind of cool, in Matt's, interrogation of Guerra. I forget what her name exactly is, but
Gwenna.
I know it was close, but
yeah. So let's keep this train moving. So Perrin, we're back to Perrin. He continues with the blacksmithing, but this time Zareen is watching him, and he nearly calls her Fail, the Falcon, which is something he's been refusing to call her. He's like, I am not calling you that. You are not the Falcon. Why, man? Why you have to tell me these things? Shit like that. So,
yeah.
And she's like, you know what? You look sexier with the beard. And he's like, really? Maybe that'll be a thing.
This woman is Nathan and Steve's favorite character in the whole book series. I didn't know if you knew that or not. So,
had no idea. But that explains why a lot of the artwork, a lot of the pictures, they show Perrin with the beard. So I'm assuming that comes to pass, that he does grow a beard.
I may be weird, but I actually, again, first time reading this book, I really liked the budding love story and the conflict. I liked it. I thought it was
turns into a werewolf, so yeah, it's hairy.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So basically, Moraine comes back, says, confirms that Rand is actually in Tyr and that weird shit's going on with the people. We've already talked about that. And she says, okay, we're going in for sure. We're going to go in. You guys should not stick around. We're likely going to die. So you go back to Tar-Valon and tell, Suwan or tell the Armerlin what's going on. So, and Perrin's like, fuck no, we're not doing this. But then Zareen's like, fuck yeah, we're doing this. And then she runs up, like, L'Oreal, we're going to leave. We're going to leave. And she basically sprung another trap. So apparently there was a hedgehog, like a Tarangriel or something like that they used to trap her in the Teleronriad or something.
The hedgehog. Yeah. And apparently they're like, where did this come from? And we find out that the innkeeper let these two women come in saying it was a gift from Moraine. So that was meant for Moraine. But she's stupid. It's so funny.
What? Zorane's stupid? Is that what we're saying?
Something like that.
That's a sentiment I can get behind. Oh. Can we let's reforge the fellowship here. Can we all agree Zareen, idiot?
We're still good with debating and theories is what this shit's all about. I already said it in chat, dude. It's all good. Like we're not going to agree on everything. That's what's fun about this freaking book. So,
for sure.
But Zareen is an idiot. Yes, 100%. We all agree.
no theory crafting needed for that one.
No, it's 100% true.
So he's like, okay, I have to rescue her. I have to help her. I'm partially responsible for her being here, which is funny because that's not how he felt a few chapters ago. Because she's like a freaking weed. Weed on him basically. So but yeah, so Perrin's like, okay, I gotta rescue her, so I'm gonna use the wolf dreams. And he's like, Loyal, I need you to have my back. And Loyal's like, I'll have your back, Perrin. Not even the dark one will get past me. And you know what? I can believe
I love Loyal.
Can you imagine how stupid this scene is going to look when it's not at all adapted?
Oh, come on. Yeah,
I
not at
thought
all.
about
I was gonna
that.
say, okay, there
Don't
you go.
think I haven't thought about
Dude,
that.
you got me on that when the not like when I thought you were gonna say when it's adapted, and you said not at all. It's like, oh shit,
when they just
you
totally
got
skip it when it never happens.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna be a carrot head with the freaking balls on
in his
hey,
clogs.
can I carry your books? Oh, sorry.
And it'll be with Egwene. It'll be with one of the girls, not with the boys.
It won't even be there.
You're probably right.
I think
no, actually, I think Salty's onto something here. Egwene might have to go into the dream to rescue someone. I think that's yeah.
Whatever Perrin did, just like in the first season, it's going to be Egwene rescuing.
You know what? You could be right. Fuck me. God,
can you imagine what their interpretation of the dream is?
It's a target during Pride Month. That's going to be the dream.
Honestly,
and here, have a Bud Light product placement. You know what I mean?
Right.
That
was cool. That's
I actually am legitimately interested to see how completely terrible Tellerand looks when they try to do it. It's gonna be tragic. Like,
look at Trip.
Assuming they do it.
Faye will rescue Perrin. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's probably true.
It's Zareen.
How are we going to do this without? I mean, again, we know that we don't have Thom. We've never gotten Thom. But how are they going to? Who are they going to put in Thom's place? I bet you it's going to be Min. You watch. It'll be. I just fuck that. Just never mind. I'm going to get
Moraine has already absorbed Tom
Min is in the
herself.
show.
Moraine has absorbed Tom's storylines into herself, and she'll do all the Tom stuff. She'll start juggling too at one point.
Moraine has been taking a lot of things into her. Sorry,
that's true. At least 3 different ones, yeah.
Oh shit, dude.
All right, so now we're in the meat of the final, or we're not actually no, we're in the outer layer of the final part of this book. So now we're attempting to get into the Stone of Tyr. So we start with Matt, and of course Matt's trying to figure out how to get in to rescue the girls. And because the stone is so big, he has to climb roofs, and he's like, okay, I'm going to climb the roof, and then I'm going to get onto the city wall, and I'm going to try and get in by the city wall intersecting with the stone. And as he's doing that, he encounters the Aiel. He tries to fight the Aiel, but then they have him surrounded, but then they ask him, like, I think they let him go. We find out it's the Aiel is they're led by Ruark. So Ruark comes back from earlier, and
he's definitely the chat would 100% agree. Ruark, 100% Chad.
100% Chad. Yeah.
I looked up how to. I kept saying Ruark, and then I looked up how it's pronounced. It's Rourke, actually. That's how you pronounce it. It's Rourke.
Might be it's Ruark.
I always said Ruark. That's what I said.
Everybody I've ever talked to said Ruark. So, but if it's Rourke, they're wrong. I don't care. It's Ruark.
Ruark to me.
Robert Jordan is wrong if he said it that way.
That's like one name that has been like everybody says something a little like a lot of the names. I shouldn't say everyone, but like Ruark has always been like Ruark. Even I think don't Kate Redding and
they do.
They say Ruark as well. So it's just like
I thought they said Ruark.
No,
I guess not.
Ruark.
So I'll have to listen. Okay,
whatever.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Trip, and I'll shut up. She says, in a lot of old school respect for women, I feel old that these are outdated notions now. Well, they're not in Eastern Europe. They're not in a lot of places that don't have this woke shit going on. You know?
I mean, they're not in 90% of the U.S. population.
No, that's why my brother married a Romanian, because she can still kick his ass, but she's a feminine woman, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Like Ray Skywalker.
Shit. All right, let's not go there. So, all right. So they're like, okay, so he encounters the Aiel, and Matt also encounters Sandar. Sandar is there too. And they're like, why are you guys here? Well, why are you here? You know? And well, apparently I think if I remember correctly, like they're like, oh, I think Gaul, I don't know if Gaul is there with, yeah, Gaul is actually there with them. So they find out about they tell the IEO basically that they're trying to rescue he's trying to rescue his friends, that they're prisoners, and Sandar basically says, hey, I need to right a wrong and everything. So I think the IEO just kind of leave them there, as long as they don't interfere with them or something. So but yeah, apparently we find out that Sandar is another person that's really skilled with the quarterstaff. So
it's not really a quarterstaff.
Or what? Okay, whatever. All right, whatever it was.
It's the baseball bat that we saw in the picture.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I've got those. I have those downloaded. Like, don't make me pull it up.
I've always interpreted it as like a narrow bamboo staff. Like, is that the image that anybody else has ever gotten? Like, we used to have bamboo. You'd use them for saplings in an orchard, right? So like 6+ foot tall, only about an inch around bamboo sticks. And my brother and I used to freaking wail on each other out in the pasture with these things growing up. And that's what I always pictured.
I go back to what they used with Little John and Robin Hood. I just a stout, heavy hardwood staff, at least 6 feet. I'm 6'5", so maybe a little longer. And you use it like you would a quarterstaff or a staff within, I would say, true staff fighting.
Do you mean Sandar, or do you mean quarterstaffs like Matt's, or do you think
Matt? I'm talking about Matt's.
Okay, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, going forward, so they're trying to figure out like how to get in. So first they want to try. They're going to have Sandar or Julian take him in, pretend he's a prisoner. But then Matt gets this wild idea. Why don't I use the fireworks and try to I forget exactly what he's trying to do, but like I thought he was going to try and like distract them so that they could slip in. But instead, he actually uses the fireworks to blow up the big hole in the wall, or the arrow slits, if I remember correctly.
I thought that was hysterical.
And it's like, then he kicks it. He's like, "Why the fuck did I do that?" He's like, "Why the fuck did I do that?"
I love that it worked like way better and not as well as he thought it would.
Yeah, he's like, "This is great. I can fit in." Oh, this isn't great because I've alerted everybody I'm breaking in. And it's like, yeah. It's like the guy who hides. It's like the guy who hides in the ceiling of the 7-Eleven after it closes and then tries climbing and falls through the roof tiles. That's kind of the vibe I got.
That is a great reference. I agree. That's
okay. Sorry, I was distracted. So, now because of the fact he's like, wait, dude, like he's telling himself, dude, you're not supposed to lure them to where you are. So now they know, so all the guards are there, and so it becomes a big massive fight going. He has to fight his way into the stone now, and so him and Sandar are making short work of the guards, if I remember correctly. So it was pretty cool. So so I think he fights 10 defenders at first. He can't beat them, but then Julian comes and helps him, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go rescue them. So now we're done with Matt. So they're on their way to rescue him. Now we're shifting. There's like 4 or 5 points of view in this chapter. So now we're at Rand. So Rand, this is going to be a really quick one. So Rand is like, oh, he hears the alarm. He hears everybody's doing shit. He just walks in. I think he just kind of walks into the he's already in this. Actually, he's already in the stone of Tyr. He's just like, I'm just gonna go to this. I'm just gonna go to the heart of the stone and get Kalendor. And he's like, I'm gonna be done. This is gonna be end. This is gonna be the end. I'm going to finish everything. So he thinks he's on his way to, fulfilling his role, and that's all going to end after this. So it's so funny. It's so funny when you hear that. especially me reading this third book, knowing that there's 11 more books left. So from that perspective, compared to someone who read it when it first came out.
You're right, though. I mean, but as a first-time book reader, I mean, like that's the same thing I felt. It's like, okay, wow, they're going to wrap up the story or something like that in this book. There was some finality to this, like this is the big battle. Like nothing could top what I'm dealing with here. And then the Aiel show up, and then the body. I mean, the body count in the Stone of Terror is huge. I mean, there's a whole lot of killing going on in this thing, and in the backdrop, you've got Rand just micro focused on what he needs to do, which is kind of walking into the trap.
Kind of. I think 100%. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just agreeing. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. 100%. He's walking into a trap. I agree.
Meanwhile, Perrin is in the dream state as a wolf with Hopper, and his power starts. Is it at Hopper?
Hopper's a good boy, yeah.
I love Hopper because he needs to go get Faylee or Zareen or whatever the hell.
Zyrene. Yeah. Okay. So now we're back. Now we're back at Egwene's point of view here. So apparently, Egwene wakes up in a cell, and she still has the PTSD from what happened. Where did the
internet? Maybe I don't know.
All right, we lost a moment of silence for Nathan. I don't know what happened. I hope
he'll be back.
He's having technical issues. He'll be
headphone
back.
issues.
Oh,
he'll be back.
Okay. So, all right. So as long as it's not me, because it's not my fault.
It's you. It's your fault.
He didn't like the body count in the stone. So
I see. Yeah, I see.
Hashtag Salty's an asshole. So
yeah,
continue.
Hashtag Salty's an asshole. All right. So we're back. So yeah. So she's still getting PTSD from the Sean Chan and everything. And we find out that they can't channel because there's a shield. There's like a ward, I believe, around them or something, so they can't do anything. And they've been in the cell for a while. And they're basically being. I mean, they're basically they realize they have to use Teleronria to basically get out of the situation right here. So I think she still has the ring. So she uses it, falls asleep, and goes back to the dream world. And then so Egwene just starts messing. So I wasn't sure exactly what was going on here in this part right here. So I wasn't sure like what exactly she was doing. She was like trapping them in their own dreams or something, or like for instance, the first person she encounters is Joya Buyer. And
I interpreted it as Joya was fading in and out of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So when she faded into sleep, Egwene does what she does and basically shields her on the dream side, which also affects her on the awake side. But they don't know how to, like, she has no mastery over it, so it's like she's permanently shielded.
Oh,
I think. Okay. I don't know. I could be remembering that part wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I
fellas.
thought that's what happened. Yep. I thought that's what happened.
Does she still her? Like, does she still her? I think she stills one of them, doesn't she?
No, I think she just shields him in and then figures out how she figured out almost accidentally how to tie off the weave.
Yeah, but it's basically stilling because they don't know how to release it because it was done on the dream side.
Yeah, because she's making all the shit up as she goes along. I think there's somebody else in another book where I think there's some stilling that occurs.
I don't know. That might be. I don't remember 100%, but I know it has to do with her fading in and out of sleep, and then Egwene sort of seizes her opportunity because she can do what she does in the dream.
So she can't wake up or something. Shields and binds her, and then she informs her that she's trapped in Teleron.
Yeah, she's trapped in. Yeah, she trapped her in the dream.
So the thing to remember is that she's using one of those dream Terangrial that you have to channel spirit into, and spirit is the only of the 5 powers that you can channel while sleeping. So she's channeling spirit to like activate it, but in the real world, she also actually falls asleep. And so the like strengthening and weakening is because you're stronger, like your image yourself is is more there when you're actually dreaming, when you're actually in the dream, whereas the dream terangrial, remember, they're very faint, like a shadow, right? And so she's in and out because she's channeling the spirit, and also like Steve said. And then I think Steve is dead on in the interpretation there of what happens, how she essentially gets trapped in the dream world, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And all right.
And then Egwene doesn't know. It's like, so they just leave her there. She's fucked. She's fucked.
Yeah.
She's fucked. That's bad. I didn't even think about it. That's terrible.
It sounds worse than death when you think about it.
That's terrible. Yeah. You can't like.
I don't know that I would call it stilling though, just because if they were to find her and release her though, she would be fine to use.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. I don't think it's stilling either. I think she just did some. She just trapped her in the dream and forever. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean that it is truly a bend over and take it reality for her the rest of the way.
Yep. So okay. So she does that, and then she's trying to get to the cells from where she's at, or something. So now we hop off, and now we're in Perrin's point of view. So now Perrin is in the stone, in Tel'aran'rhiod himself, along with Hopper, looking for Fael, and he's fighting guards, and of course, and they're likely they were pulled into the world of dreams themselves, I believe. And then, of course, he uses his hammer and breaks open a door and finds Fael lying there on a long stone bed or block, sleeping or something. Her body's covered in chains. But then as he tries to, approaches her, she wakes up, and then I believe she vanishes or something, or she fades or something. And then he has to, so once again, that's not complete. That was a weird segment right there. I was like, huh.
Yeah, it was.
So apparently,
I like this dream sequence. I think it's one of the better and more interesting examples of the sort of dream world that we get in the series. It feels very dreamlike,
Yeah. So we're back to Matt, and they're continuing. Matt's in the thick of the action right here. So Matt's just fighting, and he comes across a High Lord, and the High Lord is fighting with the sword, and the High Lord is proving to be more than a match. And there gets to a point where they're in the hallway, and I think Julian is trying to get by him, but Matt says no. If I try to move, the High Lord's going to there's going to be an opening, and the High Lord's going to attack me or something. And so they basically I forget how they defeat him.
Matt swept the legs, and as he did it, he saw Rand at a far end of a hallway going down the hall. I remember that.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't kill the High Lord. He knocks him. I believe he just simply knocks him out.
Oh, he hit him in the head. Yeah. Should have cut his head off. But
yeah, true.
I like for those of you guys playing at home, it's not just High Lord. He gives his name, right? So it's the High Lord Darlin.
And Darlin Cisnera, yeah.
Yep, the High Lord Darlin Cisnera.
Yeah, there you go. I'm the High Lord Darlin, and you are trespassing. I love that.
You will be honored to die on the blade of the High Lord Darlin. Such a great line.
Yes, yeah. It's so much.
Well, and I like Matt's response. Where is it here?
I don't think I'd like that.
Yeah. I mean, just it's such a Matt response. I'm going to give you the most sarcastic response that I can with this.
Yep.
And so I think I forget. So I think Julian Julian swings a quarterstaff up to his shoulder or something like that, and it hits another High Lord. A High Lord on the head, saving Matt from his attack. Because the High Lord was going to attack Matt from behind, and Julian hits the other High Lord purely out of luck or something. And then Matt hits him too. So there you go.
Yeah. So Matt was the one who swung his staff up onto his shoulder, and then it thudded into something.
Oh, was that what happened? Okay.
Yeah. So it was.
All right.
I mean, it's 100% Matt's luck. Right. So
yeah.
He's been facing this one dude, barely is able to beat him. and he's like, man, I hope I don't find too many more of these guys. Like that dude was tough. And then he's like,
yeah, because he's getting
like,
tired.
oh.
He's getting tired. He's getting tired from this. Like, I can't get tired from this. So,
yep.
But yeah, like this was I thought this was great. So it was funny how so apparently so let's keep going. So this is and this is where the shit really happens now. This is it. We're here. Rand. We're here, Rand. The power is with you, young Randall THOR, but you're not the Dragon Reborn yet. That's how I felt going into this fight right here. Like it felt like Empire. It almost felt like Empire to me. Don't ask me why. It felt like that. It was just I couldn't get my eyes off of the off the page. Like this was where I wanted. This was where I was looking forward to the most. So Rand has arrived at the heart of the stone in Kalandor. And Kalandor is there. It's floating in the air. It's rotating and it's shining like it usually is. So, and well, there's another man already in the room, and Rand recognizes him from his dreams, and it's Bilal, one of the Forsaken. The High Lord Salmon is there, and let's just say, he didn't think. He's just like, kind of disappointing. I didn't think you would fall for this so easily. And then he's like, do you remember me? And Rand's like, no, I don't remember you. And he's like, come on, take the sword. Fight me with the sword. He's like, no, I'm not taking the sword. And then he takes out, he pulls off his, he weaves his his red fire sword lightsaber. Zoom, right like that.
Dude, you can't say that's not a badass sword, man. His fake sword of fire. I mean, come on.
That's pretty cool. No,
I love that
Heron Mark fame sword. Oh,
and then Bilal ignites his black lightsaber sword, his Heron sword. And then I just had the Star Wars sound effects just playing in my head during my reading right here. So, well, let's just say Rand's getting his butt kicked. So, like Bilal is a master swordsman. I think even more so than the High Lord Turok.
He is a blade master from the Age of Legends, bro.
Obviously, you're reading this and you're thinking like, oh, so this is just the exact same book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the exact same book.
No one who would ever adapt this series would ever imagine that the Great Hunt in this book were identical plot lines.
They're not identical at all.
I mean, close. Yeah, but
no.
Yeah.
I mean,
anybody who would say that clearly has never read either one of these books, or maybe just had his mommy read it to him.
It's like saying all fantasy books are the same book, or all Zelda games are the same, well, except for Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
This is just like when Jon Snow fight the White Walkers, right? I mean, same thing.
Yeah, right? same thing. It's all the same. It's all the same.
I love the description in the book of what it takes for Rand to overcome this battle and what he draws on to do it. I thought this was, I mean, again, there are so many defining moments in these last couple of chapters of this book. When I went through it again, thinking about it, you could do a trilogy just from this book. Just from this book, you could do a trilogy of movies that would, I think, if it was done right, rival what Peter Jackson did. Like, I would want Peter Jackson just to adapt this book into 3 movies. It would be fucking incredible. It really would.
Yeah.
The Dragon Reborn by itself in 3 movies?
Yeah. I mean, there's a cinematic universe here that could rival what, if you gave it to Jackson, you could have very easily 12, 16 movies. And billions of dollars, because people would love it, but unfortunately Hollywood's not interested in doing it.
Harry, it's it makes you think of Harry Potter. They could do exactly what they did with Harry Potter. Nobody got tired of Harry Potter movies.
No,
they're even making more of them.
They're making they're making another one that doesn't even exist, right? Yeah. Now, Fantastic Beasts, we don't need to talk about that, but
all right,
Harry Potter movie.
But
okay, so let's
what I
go.
liked what I liked about this fight, what I loved about this fight, not only was Bilal taunting him, trying to tempt him to take the sword and everything, the Kalendor, but like there were like in the backdrop, like the Aiel have gone in. They're already fighting. Crazy. They're fighting all the defenders of this of the stone, and it's freaking chaotic. And he's like, I have to pay attention to this, and he's losing the fight. Like his wound is opening up. The wound that he got from the Great Hunt is opening up because of this fight, and he's not in a good position. So that it just gets ridiculous. It just gets so ridiculous, and. Well, I think Bilal's like, okay, I'm done with you. And all of a sudden, Moraine shows up and casts Balefire and kills Bilal and fucks up the fight. I was like, holy shit. I did not see that coming. I was expecting that not to work on him.
Well, it pins her name in the record books as probably one of the greatest Aes Sedai of all time. I mean, even though it's a cheap shot, she took out a Forsaken. I mean,
yeah. Well, you know what? When you really think about it, Bilal was a petty dipshit, and he was taken out. Like, he was a blade master, sure, but he was pretty much a petty
weasel.
Dipshit, and he went out like one because that's what he desered. That's why Moraine came in, and I'm sure Robert Jordan thought of that, and Moraine came in.
Well, you got to.
And not only that, but
he's losing, right? Rand's losing, and Moraine believes to her core, Rand is the Dragon Reborn. Yes. So, what's she gonna do? No brainer. I'm gonna unmake this fucker.
I like how you said unmake. So he doesn't just die, right?
So I want to point out that the idea that Bilal is petty. I think that you will find. And this is an interesting aspect of the Forsaken. The Forsaken are literally just like the Luz Theron Telamon Haters Club. Like every single one of them is like personally just hated the dragon.
Yep.
And all of them are just like, if it wasn't for Luz Theron, I would have gotten away with it too. Yep.
Like how many of them are just specifically just sold their souls because they wanted. Yeah, they hated Lewis Theron so much, and they just wanted to freaking destroy him. So it was like, I'll sell my soul just so I can be better.
And so I think the takeaway that I have from that is like, I think you're right to say, okay, he was a petty dipshit. Okay, fine. I think he is actually like very powerful and like very smart and all sorts of that other stuff, right? But the pettiness I think is interesting, and I think that's actually like kind of a lesson that the downfall of people is often just jealousy and envy. Like the most
agreed.
Like it is a thing that we all feel like in that little corner of our heart. And if you allow it to breathe, it will destroy you. And I think that's the story of the Forsaken.
I agree. And I think Brian's right. It is pettiness. And I think there was even a moment where he mentioned something, I don't know, wasn't it mentioned with one of the other Forsaken that he was jealous of them both? That I don't know. There was some intrigue where it really was deeply personal.
He had a beef with Ishmael too. So
Ishmael too. Yeah.
Hold on, correct me if I'm wrong. He was playing with Rand most of the time. He could have took him out several times. I thought he was just playing with him, getting him to try and go for Kalendor.
Well, yeah, because
that was all he wanted, because once he killed Rand, he would get Kalendor.
He'd get Kalendor, and then he'd have the power, because that's all he cared about was the power, and that's why I consider that character petty.
The other cool insight that I like about this battle is where Bilal is talking about the two of them together back in the Age of Legends.
Yeah,
and he's like, do you remember when, you were a greater swordsman once, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we took that tame sport called swords and learned to kill with it? Like, it was such an interesting kind of look into the Age of Legends.
It's like you were a better jock than I was in middle school, and now here we are all these years later, and my entire life has been
Well, it's even
based
worse
upon reacting to what happened when we were in the eighth grade. You know, I mean, that's what this asshole sounds like.
Well, it's even worse because Rand's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I know,
right?
I don't know you. What the fuck? You know, I don't know who the fuck. Yeah.
And this kind of plays in like Rand's naivete is still in place in this whole thing, and it really comes into play here. And Brian, I wanted to get what you thought of this passage, or if you had any thoughts on this passage. Rand laughs at Bilal. This is before they get into it, and he's like, "Do you believe you can frighten me so easily, Forsaken? But Alzamon himself has hunted me. Do you think that I will cower now for you? Grovel before a Forsaken when I've denied the Dark One to his face?"
Yeah, and then I like how he responds, "You don't know shit, kid.
Is
You
that
don't
what you
know.
think?
You don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, he's like, "Is that what you think?" Bilal said softly.
Yeah.
Truly, you know nothing.
Yeah. I wonder if George stole that line and then used it repeatedly for Jon Snow. You know nothing. You know. Okay.
Was
Sorry.
that
I
line
went there.
even that much of a thing in the book? I feel like the show made that line way more than the book did.
It did.
Nosferatu the Vampire has entered the chat and says, "Here we go again, a bunch of nerds speculating about the worst book series ever." Hey, it's good to see you, my box wine brother.
All right, I'm just gonna put Nas in a timeout. I'm just gonna block him for the next 30 minutes.
I agree, Pips. I liked all the stuff that he brought up, like the hall, all the stuff brought up from the Age of Legends and all that stuff. So I thought that was great. Just builds the world even more for me. So, so he's dead. Moraine killed him with balefire, and but it's not over. Apparently, apparently Balsamon shows up and manages to knock out Moraine with I forget what he used, like some sort of I forget what kind of attack he used on her, but it grabbed her. He grabbed her and knocked her into one of the pillars, one of those redstone pillars. So, and yeah, so you see Balsamon's basically floating above, like he's a Dragon Ball villain, and you're just like, oh shit. And then he's like, oh, Rand's like, okay, shit, I have to do this now. So he goes after that and grabs Kalendor, and then he becomes it's like a Legend of Zelda moment where you get the Master Sword and all that. That's kind of what I thought. But he grabs the sword, he has the power, and he's like, shit, what's going on with me? Am I losing control? What's going on? But then he gets out of it, and he's like, I'm going after you, Balsamon. And then Balsamon flees, and they go to he flees to Teleron Riyadh, and that's where and Rand goes after him. It's insane. So the chase, I know we're getting cut off here. The chase is nuts. Like I don't even remember half the shit that happens. Like there's so much going on during that chase. It's so ridiculous. Like actually, no, I'm not gonna skip the other characters. So they're going. So we're back to Egwene. So Egwene is still in Teleron Riyadh. She gets to she gets to the cells, and I believe she encounters this other Black Aja, Amiko Nagoyan, and who's guarding. She's the one guarding the cell, and I think she's going in and out of sleep too, and she's the one that's maintaining the shield that keeps them from using the true source. Well, so what does Egwene do? Well, she weaves air to hold Amiko, and then weaves spirit to shield her from the one power. So apparently, so when she kind of I think the same thing happens to her, doesn't it? That happened to Joya.
Similar, except she's caught between spaces.
Okay, so she all right. So
you got it, Nerdporial. You got it. It's just again, it allows the girls and it removes the shielding of that. So yeah.
Okay. So all right. So they took care of two of the Black Aja. They didn't kill them. They just trapped them, I guess. Trapped them in the dream world. And yeah, so she breaks the locks. She breaks the locks to the in the dream world and wakes up like, oh wait, that doesn't work. And then she exits. So she exits the Teleron reality. Of course, it doesn't work. But the fact that Emiko is no longer bound, like they are able, I believe, to get out. Or no, they can't get out. So Egwene has to figure out another way to get out. That way failed. I forgot. So all right. So she goes back to sleep, and now we're back at Matt's point of view. So it's Matt who rescues them, not Egwene, but Matt. But she does take out the Black Object. So Matt and Julian enter the dungeon, and they see Emiko, and then of course they're like, oh shit, we have to approach her carefully. They realize that she's like completely like catatonic at that point. She's just completely she's unresponsive, I believe. So he's the one that manages to unlock the door, and they get it open. And Nynaeve and Elaine and Egwene just act like themselves to him. He's like, wait, you're like, wait, you're bossing me. Wait, what's going on here? So, but yeah, they're surprised to see him. Like, what are you doing here? And then they wake Egwene up, and of course they're all still pissed at Julian because they betrayed him. They're giving him like these dirty looks and all that. So he's like, I'm sorry. I was compelled to do so. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll punish you later, I guess. So, so they exit. So they leave, and I think Emiko begs for mercy, and Nynaeve just punches her in the face and knocks her out or something. So I guess she wasn't trapped, or I don't know. I don't get this, honestly. I have to reread it
because she was caught in both places. She was kind of like that in between, so she was still able to consciously ask for help but not move because she was still trapped in that dream space halfway.
So could they help her if they wanted to or something?
Well, Egwene could go back and kind of release it, but Nynaeve sends her back fully. So,
yeah, she could undo the tie or the weave,
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, yeah. So the shields disappear. They embrace Sidar. Nynaeve heals the others, and then Matt's like, "Why are you hitting her?" And then I think she's like, "Why are you hitting her?" And then they get pissed off at him for even bringing that up in the first place. So, they're like, "You don't understand the situation, dude." And then he calls them ungrateful for them trying to free him. Yeah, so it just gets ridiculous. So it's things are back to normal for them, Matt and the girls and all that. And they're like, we got to get the hell out of here. Let's do this. But they're like, no, we're not leaving. We're going to find the other Black Oddjob. And we're going to fuck them up. We want to fuck Leandrin up because that's because I mean, first Egwene gets sold into slavery but to the Shan by her, and then they get caught and done and get treated like this again by her. So I figured they want some payback. So yeah, so they try to search for Leandrin, and they're like, okay, we're going to stay with you and protect you during this. So we're done with the Matt stuff. Now we're onto Perrin. So I believe their Perrin is still trying to rescue Fael, and he sees a fake Fael at one point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And and he's like I'm guessing all those whenever they fade they're fake, so they're like decoys or something. So it's getting to the point where it's taking a toll on the princesses in another castle.
He also sees Rand there as well. So
it's interesting, and this is right after Rand went into to go after Balsamon. So this will be interesting. And we find out Hopper is the one that actually leads Perrin to a set of doors that actually has the Fael around it, and he uses the hammer to break the doors. And if they find Fael chained to a perch, and then when they rescues her, this gets really weird. A bunch of falcons attack him.
Mm-hmm.
and he breaks the chain, and I think he comes back like pretty wounded from the bird attack.
He's dying. He's using too much energy and putting too much of himself into that world. So when he comes back,
You were
there's
here
blood
too
everywhere.
strongly, young bull.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and also because it's in that dream state, Fail is in her human form in all other places except here. She's a falcon chained to a perch here.
Oh, so she's a falcon here too?
Yep.
Ah, interesting. All right, and
Dempsey,
so of course he wakes
Dempsey's
up
in the chat. Hail to Dempsey. Sorry.
What's up, Dempsey? So yeah, so Perrin wakes up. He's laying on the floor. So he entered he didn't enter the stone in the real world. He only entered the stone in the dream world. So he wakes up and he's all screwed up. He's all fucked up from all the wounds, and he's got blood all over. And yeah, and he's happy that he got her back, and there's a tender moment. So I'm wondering where this is going to go.
Yep.
Further, I think this is the last we see of Perrin in this book.
So one question I'd like to ask, because so he's in the dream and he sees Rand, you said, right? So do you think that Rand is a dreamer? How is Rand in the dream if Perrin is only in the dream and not in the real stone? Like what do you think is going on there? And you know, we've seen that in this book in other places too, right?
I mean, from what I've seen so far, it seems like, you know, people can be in the world at this dream world at the same time. They can see each other. They can interact.
Yeah, but what he's saying is he asleep right now? It's a dream world. Is Rand sleeping currently in the stone when he sees him in the dream?
No, I don't think so. He's
chasing Balsamon around, so he's definitely not asleep.
Yeah.
So
I guess you don't have to. I guess you don't have to.
Just something interesting to bring up, that we've seen Rand in the dream several times, but he doesn't seem to be doing what Egwene is doing, and he doesn't seem to be doing what Perrin is doing.
Yeah, so Perrin, I think, used the hedgehog to get into the dream world, and Egwene just used the terangrial.
Well, Perrin's
a wolf, so
Perrin's wolf thing, right? Because the wolves are in the world of dreams, right?
Yeah, Perrin can go into the dream. Perrin is arguably more powerful dreamer than Egwene because he can just do it because it's part of him.
Yeah. So I'm curious, is it because of the sword?
That was borderline. You're fine. He didn't catch it.
I think anyway. I don't have an answer for you. I was just curious what your thoughts were, having seen and called out the idea that Perrin saw Rand while Perrin was in the dream. And
yeah, the dream stuff I don't fully. I mean, the dream stuff is kind of confusing. I'm not gonna.
It's meant to be this early.
So let's start making sense. Let's start making sense. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So like the whole thing with those two black Ajah, I was just like, what's going on? And like I was like, what's going on?
You're exactly where you should be, Brian. Like as a reader, I felt the same way the first time.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're exactly where you should.
All right, but here's the meat. Here's this. Here's where we go right here. So here, yeah, give me the meat and give it to me raw right here. So we're in the heart of stone in the dream world now. There's no men, there's no battle, but he hears. I think he hears boom, 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 or something, or he hears something, and or it's a gong. He basically hears a gong, and then of course, first thing that happens, Balsamon tries to shoot balefire at Rand, but he uses his lightsaber to deflect it or to split it, to split it. So like
Does
that.
he use Kalendor to split it?
Yeah, Kalendor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, so he's got two lightsabers. Okay, my bad.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
White lightsaber. He's the dragon.
Yeah, it's true. His wing is a lightsaber.
The dragon reborn.
Yeah. So now he's going after. No, Balsamon runs off and he's chasing him, and he's what's funny is he just doesn't know how he's doing it, but he's instinctively he's defending himself. He doesn't know how he's doing this, That's what makes this even weird. And it's funny like how he feels like he's kind of slipping off of he's like, kind of like he's losing it. He's like, how'd they put it? Dancing on the how was that put? Like he was dancing on the edge or something, or
I don't know.
As a way of saying like to maintain his sanity as he's going forward or something.
I don't know the quote.
I don't know if I don't know where my Kindle is right now. So
what are we looking for here?
Just whatever was said to describe Rand's state of
mind
being while he was wielding Kalendor and just defending himself against Balzamon, or chasing down Balzamon.
Yeah. So yeah, like one thing I noticed, I love how like Tel'Aran'rhiod is changing as Balzamon's trying to change the dream world to off him and everything. Like the air, like there's a moment where all the air turns into water. Water and then turns into stone, weighing him down, and he just makes it go away or makes it go back to normal.
Yeah, and that's how he got rid of all the Murdral and the Trollocs that were jamming the hallway in front of him. He just kind of
So he just like he just made them non-existent or something. It was ridiculous.
This is without knowing how he turned them to vapor that parted before him and vanished. The air around him suddenly became choking soot, clogging his nostrils, shutting off breath, but he made it fresh air again, a cool mist.
Sounds very Tolkien. It sounds very Tolkienian right there.
So I love this because this fight links together a fight that we've seen and a fight that we will see. So like this is really good stuff. I'm glad that you're keying in and like enjoying the ride on this.
Wait, what previous fight? What, the one in the Great Hunt?
No. So when you're reading this, you should be thinking of Rand at the Eye of the World.
Rand v. B-Man and the Eye of the World.
I did not think of that.
Rand versus Balzamon.
When he's standing over at the gap.
So.
Tarwin's Gap.
Yeah. So.
And the flame. I think the ground turns to flame or something.
And he's going up a stairway into a door, and he shows up in a weird room, and his mom's there, and like the cords of light and like all this stuff. It's this is Rand with like more understanding of what's happening around him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, because I remember like that in the Eye of the World, like he had no idea. It was like in a haze. He was like in a haze while it was going on. Like it's just like he didn't know what was going on. So, but yeah, that was very interesting. That's very interesting to think about. I might have to reread that now. I have to reread that now.
You do have to reread the series, obviously.
Yeah. I got you. Not only you, Dane said, "Yo, you're reading Eye of the World next, right?" I'm like, sure. I'm reading that and the Great Hunt and the Dragon Reborn again, of course. So,
the Dragon Reborn.
Dragon Reborn. There you go. And so, I believe. Was there anything else?
Private chat.
All right. Okay. All right, Mr. Salty. Glad we made it to the final fight. Everything.
There's so much in this. There's so much in this book, and just in these chapters. Thanks for having me on. There's so much more to this. Just these last couple chapters. Honestly, I think you could break out every chapter into a stream and talk about it for an hour because there's so much to it and there's so much great stuff within it. So thanks for having me on. It's 8:00 here on the East Coast and I haven't eaten yet, so I have got to go do that. It's the only reason I'm dropping. But I don't know, whatever coast I'm on, West Coast. You guys are awesome. Chat, you guys are awesome in chat. Steve, Nathan, Pips, Brian, thanks for having me on.
I was surprised you lasted this long. Thanks for being here.
It's cocaine. I've just been doing cocaine off camera the whole time.
There you go.
Just trying to bring back the 80s.
Yeah. All right.
There you go. Well, Salty, take care.
You you guys. Have a good one.
Buddy.
Take it easy. Bye, chat.
All right. So Gadfly says this is a balancing on a knife's edge type of description. Okay, is that what it was? Okay, I think that might be what it was. Okay, there you go. All right, cool. So, but yeah, so they end up getting back into the heart of the stone, and Rand sees the black cords that are just like, I think they're creating the darkness around Baalzamon, and Rand just basically cuts them with the sword. Baalzamon convulses, and then he just plunges it once again. So Kalendor is plunged into Baalzamon's chest, and he's like, "Fool, the great Lord of the Dark cannot be defeated." And then he pulls it out, and Baalzamon is dead. The Dark One's dead. That's what that's what Rand thinks. The Dark One's dead. That's the end of the series, right? Right. Then now he's and this is where it happens. This is where Nathan's little thing happens right here. So Rand's back in the real world, and the men are still fighting, and Moraine is unconscious, and he sees the body of Baalzamon, and he's like, "I have killed Baalzamon. I killed Shaitan. I have won the last battle. I am the Dragon Reborn, the breaker of nations. No, I will end the breaking, end the killing. I will make it end." And then he's like, "Stop. I am Randall THOR. I am the Dragon Reborn." What an ending to a chapter. What an ending to a chapter, dude. Like I couldn't, I'm like, shit, man.
Chills,
That's
brother.
so freaking uplifting.
Well, shit starts getting real for Rand right now, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's finally it's like, it's like, okay, I've been told, but I just picked the most ridiculous thing to do that the dragon's supposed to do, and I did it, so I guess I am. So now it's a fully realized Dragon Reborn. Watch out.
Yeah. So it's ridiculous. So I'm just
shit.
Yeah, like it's like there's just like it's just so crazy. Like
God, I'm trying, like, now I'm sort of like where Trip's at here. I'm mixing my books up. So is that what? There's still a chapter or two after. There's a few chapters after that.
There's just the epilogue.
The final chapter. That's it.
Yeah.
One more chapter, and we're done.
So Shadow Rising begins with the stuff.
Yes. Stop it. Yes.
Fucking hell, man. Like, no. I said the stuff.
Right, but that's why I was telling you at the beginning.
Oh my God!
The fourth book picks up and just
for some
goes.
reason I had it
boom.
at the end of my head. That all this stuff in the stone. I'm being quiet. All the stuff in the for some reason I thought all the other stuff that happened in the stone, it was at the end of this. So I'm shutting up now. But wow, because the Shadow Rising, fuck me, dude. God
it's because what I was saying, or like what Nate was saying, where like this book ends again, where like you're not even like still going click, 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 click. Like you crest the top, you're in a freaking free fall, and then it's like, tune in next time to see what the fuck happens.
Because man, the Shadow, that's the perfect description. Because holy fuck, man, I'm thinking about all this stuff that happens at the beginning of Shadow Rising. Jesus, wow. Yep. It is amazing when you do
it's
read
not just blowing bubbles.
Well, no, not at all, right? So it is amazing that when because I'm in the middle of a reread. I just finished Crossroads. I'm into Knife of Dreams. But when you reread it, like especially the audiobook, at least for me, when you do them back to back to back to back, it sort of muddles all together what book is what. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm having a little bit of like, where did the Dragon Reborn end and where did the Shadow Rising begin? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's crazy. No wonder that Shadow Rising is widely seen as some people's favorite book. So
it was mine for a long time.
Yeah. Yep. So, man, you're going into the big three now.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like all the traps that were sprung in this segment right here. Like, Did they just happen randomly,
need to
or did
find out.
Balsamon like plan this? Or I'm curious.
Indeed.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's a good answer. Indeed. Yeah, read and
Indeed,
find out, brother.
All right.
Yep. You'll get that answer real quick though.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Nathan already read the how the city of Tyr reacted to this, so I won't get into that. Right? I thought that was great. I thought that was the perfect way to open into the intro. So I thought that was great. Thanks for once again, Nate. Thanks for doing that. That was splendid. That was Lord of the Rings intro level.
Fuck,
greatness
man!
right
All
there.
of that is the beginning of Shadow Rising.
I know. Steve's like, I need to
go
pause
change his
my
pants,
dreams
ladies
and
and
go
gentlemen.
reread Shadow Rising.
Because I remember tearing ass right through all I did Eye of the World, I did The Great Hunt, I took a little break, read some Dresden, then I remember Dragon Reborn right through Lords of Chaos because how do you stop, right? So it's just man, it's fucking brain fart fuck right now, man. Wow, man, you're not gonna be able to stop reading for hours. It's just you're gonna be going, man. It starts off with a
Brian
bang.
sitting there just like.
Okay, I was listening. I was on my way back home yesterday. I was actually on my way back home from something, and I was listening to the beginning of Shadow Rising to audiobook. So I was listening to the first chapter. So
okay.
I didn't get that far. I didn't get that far into it.
Oh,
it was mostly Purple Prose and Min and stuff.
Yeah.
So I know Min's the first point of view character.
Yeah, there's a breadth. You start the Shadow Rising, and there's a breath, and you're just like, oh, okay, we're just doing stuff, and then Robert Jordan punches you straight in the face.
Yeah, okay. Now I'm having a Steve moment with the Min thing in the first Christmas.
Yeah, because you said something about Min tonight, we were going to talk about. I'm like, I don't fucking remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So good, man. Fucking Dragon
really
Reborn,
is.
brother. Oh my god.
All right,
it's very similar to The Great Hunt, though.
You guys don't remember Min arriving?
No, I remember. I remember. Min. I just went.
But it's like calling it to memory that's how the next book starts. So you're kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't wait to understand the context of what's being discussed here.
So, sorry.
Yeah. No. Hopefully, this is just driving you to
our Discord
bleeding over.
Our Discord chat is going to be pretty great as he starts reading this. He's just going to be like,
"Oh God,
what the hell?
What the hell? What the fuck? Oh my God, no! What the fuck has happened?"
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So one thing I'm sure you gentlemen have noticed is when I really enjoy a reader, I get completely sidetracked. Like, holy shit, I will actually write it into our chat saying, holy shit, this happened, or maybe I'll have an idea or I figure something out. So yeah. So yeah. Okay. So if I hope so. So I'm holding you guys to this. So if I don't get excited, I'm not gonna be happy.
If you don't get excited, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, zero chance of it. Zero chance. No way. No
All right, so
all
right, so let's cover this final. Yeah, let's cover this final chapter. So this final chapter, here's one thing I was surprised. I was expecting Rand to kind of take over the story again, but no, this final chapter is all Matt's point of view. So Perrin's already out of commission, so now it's all Matt here. So apparently they're still in. Believe they're still in the Stone of Tyr, I think, and they're still in the Stone. And they're hanging out in a room. Ruark is with them. I didn't say Rourke. I said Ruark, and he's reading a book. And Matt's like, bloody hell, dude! I didn't know Aiel can read. So yeah. I thought that was hilarious. So
I thought you were all fucking retarded.
I thought you just fought and I thought all you did was fight and kill and everything. So. Yeah, so apparently, we find out that there were 300 Aiel, and they killed 100 of them got killed, but they killed or captured 1,000 of the defenders. goes to show you how good they are.
Oh
fighting.
yeah, they're freaking crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, so I thought that was great, and of course we find out that the Aiel are actually the people of the dragon. That's why they're all like, everybody they knelt right away when Rand proclaimed himself the Dragon Reborn and everything, and that's why when the Stone of Tyr is taken, that the Aiel will leave the Westfold land. So I thought that made more sense, huh?
Threefold land, but
Threefold land. What did I say? Westfold.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did I get that from? Was it from
West? Probably Lord of the Rings, I would think.
Probably from Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Fuck. Where was Gondor when the Westfold fell?
Yeah, that's where I got it. Thanks, Pips.
Back to our previous conversation for just a second. I did a quick check. Brian, if you can finish chapter 10 and not tell us that like you're completely sold on this series, you love it, and you're turning your channel into a Wheel of Time channel, I will be shocked.
Then I run the risk of Nosferatu reporting me and unsubscribing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
300 to 1,000. That's a pretty damn good ratio, man.
Yeah, that's true. So you said chapter 10, huh? I'm holding you to it, Pips. So
finish chapter 10 and then tell me that you're like, you know what? I think you guys have overhyped this book.
So, all right. So what's funny is I believe Matt says, hey, Rand killed, this is over, right? Rand killed the Dark One. He's dead. And Moraine's like, bitch, no, that was a man. Dark One's not a man.
It's a quote, direct quote.
Yes. Yeah. So,
no, bitch. Just you need the backhand.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about?
And he's like, he killed Shaitan, and she's like,
don't say his name.
I kind of wonder if the whole Voldemort, he who must not be named thing probably came from this or something. I'm curious.
If Gadfly's still in the chat, he could probably tell us the origins going back to like the Iliad or something like that. But I think that's a fairly common trope, right? Like even in the Lord of the Rings, right? Yeah. They have the thing about like the speaking the black tongue of Mordor, outside of Mordor or saying Sauron's name. They actually mention, like the dark. They call him the Dark Lord. They call him things instead of his proper name. And the idea, Dempsey brought this up here. Names having power is a very old.
Oh yeah,
narrative
like,
trope.
Absolutely. So, I think it's all over. I mean, it's huge in like a Dresden Files book. You have your name is like your fucking first, shield.
Yeah. It's all about not giving evil and speaking it into existence.
Yep.
Yeah, and we also find out that the rest of the Black Aja got away. So Leandrin is still at large. The rest of the Black Aja are still at large, and they're like, they want to punch a bitch in the face right now. That's what Nynaeve and Elaine and Egwene want to do. So, I'm curious where that's going to go with the Black Aja.
Matt like shit. Yeah. Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry, getting ahead of myself.
Well, no, sorry, my bad. They started treating them like shit when they walked in the door and rescued them.
Fucking ungrateful bitches. God.
Yeah, pretty much.
Man,
that part pissed me off when I first read that.
Dude, it's so bad that the amount of it's so bad that what he does and goes through to save them, and they're just like, we didn't need you. It's like, all right, let's just go. Come on, let's just.
So they're like, okay, so yeah, so they're like,
he still loves them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's And then, of course, they're like, okay, so if he's not the Dark One, then who is he? And then Egwene's like, oh, I remember that chapter from when I was in Varen's office, and Varen was bringing up Balsamon or Ishamael is veiled. Secrets are veiled over secrets, and then they bring up Balsamon and everything. I forget the exact quote, but that's how Egwene figures out that Balsamon could possibly be Ishamael. They're one and the same. How? I don't know, but they are. And so yeah, so 9. So 4 of the Forsaken are gone now. So who's gone? So from the first book, Agenor and Balthamel, and then from this book, Balal, and now Ishamael. So 4 of the Forsaken are dead. That means there's 9 left, and the only ones we know of so far there's Samael and Ilion, and there's Lanfear, and there's another, and we find out the Black Odge. I forgot to bring this up. The Black Odge, when they capture Elaine and the rest of them, they call the High Lord Salmon their great master. You know what that means? I think Lord, the fuck's his name? I forgot his name.
I don't want to say it.
Lord in Camelin is a Forsaken.
Grable.
So Mergaze is
Grable.
under
Is
the
it Grable?
spell of a
Grable?
Forsaken.
Is it Grable? Gabriel.
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 All right,
Gerbil.
so that's what that. So I think, and they actually, Moraine actually name dropped another Forsaken, and I think that other Forsaken is Lord Gabriel.
Okay,
I forgot the name.
What name?
I forgot the name. I didn't write it down.
Samael, Ravine.
Ravine is okay. I don't know for sure, but I think Ravine is Lord Gabriel. I'm calling it here.
All right, read and find out.
Yeah, read and find out.
Yep.
That was Mogandine. Okay.
So there you go. So yeah, so
Grandel, right? Grandel is great. Gabriel, both G words.
So, and this is all because of the word. This is all because of the title, Great Master. That's how.
Yeah. Oh, well, you pay attention. You pay attention. Those things happen. So yep.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I always chuckle when I figure things out like that. I feel good. I feel like
you're rewarded for paying attention, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, I'm really smart. I don't care what I tell myself. I can be smart. I am smart. No.
Well, this is not a spoiler. There's no doubt that Balzamon was Ishmael, right?
Well, yeah, I found out accidentally, but yeah.
So
but, yeah.
I mean, well,
there's a lot. But I mean, the whole Betrayer of Hope, that thing that's planted throughout the last 3 books.
Hope. What a title, Betrayer of Hope.
No.
So because Ishmael's freaking Looney Tunes, man. He thinks he's the Dark One. That's all there is to it.
Why do you think that Betrayer of Hope was a insight or a link to Balzamon? Like what? Like I'm curious because you said the Betrayer of Hope thing that was let in at that's how you figured out Ishamael was Balzamon.
I forgot. I also forgot. It's been like a book or so.
Is it because you watched the TV show and they said Balzamon, Betrayer of Hope? Or no, they said never mind. They said Ishamael, Father of Lies. That's what
I was gonna say they said Ishamael, Father of Lies. Yeah, they never called him Betrayer of Hope.
Yeah, the show crossed.
Hey! Keep that Destroyer of Hope in your pants, Gadfly. All right.
So
I forget why it was. I forget how it was connected.
Yeah, because in the book.
Well, I think based on what he said, also based on how he's keep telling, Rand, we've always been fighting and blah 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 and everything, and it just took me back to the whole Luce Theron and Elin Mordai or whatever his name is, and and he was the Betrayer of Hope in the prologue. So he says a lot of the same stuff. So that's kind of how I figure how I put that together. Yeah, I've reread the prologue several times, so that's helped too. So
yeah, I think the other good hints are when he is talking about the false dragons and the fact that he whispered into Hawkwing's ear and those types of things are other good sort of
Yeah, that's true. So,
Dempsey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, crying in hallways. Yeah, Jesus Christ, excuse my language. All right,
that's
so
what Kalendor was made of, is tears, Rand's tears.
Sure.
That's that's why he made everything disappear into a mist.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, tears, not mist. Okay.
So we get this. So we meet this new character. We meet this new character named Berlane or something. She's just like I think she's one of like the high ladies or something of tier or something.
Yeah, she is first of man.
Yep.
She's what?
She's the first of man, so she's basically a queen. Well, basically a queen of a small country.
It is
an
insanely small.
I was like, I was wondering what Maine was.
It's on the map. It's
on the map.
It's a city
on the southeast
that is at the very bottom of the spine of the world on the Erythoshan, and it's just just close enough to Tyr, and essentially like Tyr controls the landward approaches, so it's accessible by water or by going through Tyr, and so Tyr has always essentially considered it its land. And there's a whole political thing. If you recall, right? I think that was. Never mind. It was going to Tyr. It was something with Baal Doman. Remember, his boat and the sort of ship getting access out to. I think he was going to Mayen, right?
Yeah, Mayen's been mentioned a couple times, and even the position, the first of Mayen, was mentioned earlier in the book, if I remember right.
Yeah, when it was mentioned that she was a guest of the High Lords in Stone of Tyr, as rumors and things like that were going on in the town.
All right, I'm typing something. All right, so yeah, but so she basically before, like, she's supposed to be delivering a letter, but before that, we find out like she's eyeing Ruark, so she's like, "You are going to dine with me, Ruark," or something like that. And then she sees the Rand. She's like, the Dragon Reborn's going to dine with me as well, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, I don't like that you disturbed my sleep or something stupid like that. I think that was meant to be comic relief or something. But then they give, she gives Moraine a letter, and she's like, who gave this to you? Someone. She's like, I don't know. I was just compelled to do it. And so Moraine opens the letter, and it's basically, I'll let you hold on to Luce Theron for me, but when he's ready, he's mine. And there's another letter, a letter from Lanfear. She's like, he's gonna be mine. You bitches aren't gonna keep him forever. So so it's interesting. But he's Luce Theron was mine. He is mine, and he will be mine forever. So I give him into your charge. So you'll keep him for me until I come, and then everything. So, ladies, there you go. And of course, the Matt is, once again, Matt's like, okay, I think my role in the story's done, and Moraine's like, no, bitch, your story's not done. You're Ta'Veren, remember? You sounded the fucking horn, bitch.
Yeah. Horn of Valir,
and they're all looking at him like, oh, it's too bad, So, so it's like, what's funny is, So basically, he's like, you know what? Fine, you can count on me.
Of course, it's Matt.
And like, and that's basically how that's how this ends. He ends with Matt. It ends with Matt saying, you guys can count on me, and I'm gonna go check up on Tom. And then we get the conclusion that we haven't heard Nate say yet. That we will pretty soon. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's it. Outside, everyone, it's the dragon, THOR, the dragon, THOR, the dragon, THOR. It's nuts.
Tastes great, less filling. Tastes great, less filling.
The dragon.
Eat fresh. All right, fine. Let me see, where is it? All right. Oh, so you did something. Hear. All right, put it up.
The dragon THOR will never hear it.
All right, and let's
share. It'll be the dragon Alvir. The dragon Alvir.
All right, let's see what we got here. So we got Maine. Where's Maine? So the Sea of Storms. There's Tyr. Also, Maine is all the way down here. All right, so I see it right here. Wow.
And
I don't think it's on. I don't think it's on the main map, is it? Is it on the main map?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Which, looking at this, I misspoke. I said the Erythoshan. It's the Sea of Storms of the south. Erythoshan is to the
west.
The west, even though it's all the same ocean. So
yeah. All right. All right. So do we go to Godan at all?
Hmm?
We go to Godan right here.
It's mentioned.
I'll take that as a no. Okay.
I don't recall anything big happening there.
Yeah, no.
Shane Tai. Oh, that's
Whoa! Come on, watch your mouth.
What?
What? Shane Tai, not Shaitan. I was like, whoa! Oh, I did it. You tricked me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, so
the dark one.
So that's
racist.
That's the end of the Dragon Reborn. I mean, this was. I'll be honest. This took me a little time to get into. I really enjoyed the prologue. Prologue was excellent, but I think the first few parent chapters kind of dragged for me, so I kind of stopped for a while. But then I got back into it, and I started reading it, and then it just gets insane. Once the battle comes and Rand's missing, then it gets interesting, and then I think the story takes off after that. So, I don't know if I don't know where I'd rank this with The Great Hunt though. I'm not sure, or even with The Eye of the World yet. So, but this I love this ending. This was great. This ending along with The Great Hunt's ending are really good. I mean, I love The Eye of the World's ending too, but I think these two endings were better.
The same though. The same.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same book, same scenario.
Yeah. I think that's fair though to not know how you kind of rank this whole book. I'll say that among the first 6 books, The Dragon Reborn is probably my least favorite
of the 6,
which should tell you what you're in for.
Okay,
that could be right. Yeah, like even for me too. And the Dragon Reborn is a fucking killer book.
So I think I know Pips. I think you said Lords of Chaos is your favorite book of the first 6.
I have a real hard time picking one specific favorite. It's like, honestly, like I would say it, and then whenever I'm reading the first 6 books, the one that I'm reading is my favorite.
Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I forgot, Steve, where you stood on
Lord of Chaos for sure, 100%.
Lord of Chaos. Why you, Nate? I know you said.
I've become a big fan of Great Hunt, but it's Knife of Dreams is such a damn good book. A wonderful send off for Robert Jordan, which that may tie into that a little bit, but but again,
so is Great Hunt your favorite of the first 6 then?
That I don't know.
It's hard. It's so hard.
You're splitting hairs really when you're trying to come
absolutely.
to the conclusion of what your favorite book is out of the series. I don't know anybody's ever said Crossroads, but
the slog.
You need your head checked if you say Crossroads.
But it's he's such a good storyteller.
Rafe Judkins said Crossroads.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I hate you for even saying that, Pips. But he just weaves such a good story, and builds these characters up so well. And in one book you can sit there like this one, you can just see Matt and his character just shooting out of the gun in this book. And a book that's titled after Rand, and yet you see Rand for a little bit at the beginning. You see him briefly in the fight, and then the final chapter doesn't have him. But you get Rand's character really developed it beautifully in the first and second book. Perrin in the second book. everyone has their moments, and so when you sit there and you think about a character, well, this character, then that means my favorite book is this one, and this character, my favorite for them is in this one. You know, it's just a wonderful spread.
Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, thanks for sharing that. I was gonna ask, I asked Salty, but Salty's not here, so I'll assume I don't know. I'll assume New Spring is his favorite.
Oh no!
I could thank Pips for that one. So, all right. So the other thing, I know we're 3.5 hours. So originally I was going to have Jacob Ironside come on to talk about what he felt of the book, but this took a while longer, and plus he said his internet was not doing so well. So I asked him to relay a message for me on what he said, on his thoughts were. So this is what he had to say. I'm going to try and see if I read the whole thing. This stupid monitor. All right. So Jacob Ironside says, I really enjoyed The Dragon Reborn. Perrin and Matt had a lot more character development in this book. Both of their characters came into their own. Egwene and Nynaeve are really ungrateful to Matt when he rescues them when they get themselves into it. I enjoyed the Perrin and the smithy part, and Matt with the sparring scene is actually really good. The payoff to this book was really satisfying. I really enjoyed it and look forward to reading the next book. So looks like Jacob Ironside is going to continue to read the series. And then I asked another individual who may or may not be related to Prophet of the Dragon, because he read the Dragon Reborn as well.
Oh, you're stealing my
thunder? You have your son Ryan.
I'm going to be doing this with him.
Highlight Salty's comment. You owe it to him.
Oh, he was here. I didn't think you were selling that in the chat. He's not your strength.
You said his
Tell
name.
Us what it is.
Tell
us what your favorite book is.
The power
in
of
the chat.
his name brought him back.
I guess names have power after all. So saying Salty is, all right.
But it's not New Spring. It's probably Crossroads.
Oh, God, daggers.
Yeah. So, all right, but So this is what Ryan shared with me. So he said I actually originally invited him to see if he wanted to come on for a few minutes, but he couldn't because he's a busy man. He says, I enjoyed the book a lot, and I liked how a lot of the people outside of Rand, like Perrin, Matt, and Tom, all got a good amount of screen time. He's like, not sure for a better term, and development. I thought that the trio of Nynaeve, Elaine, and Egwene were great and had good chemistry with each other. I'm assuming you've read the ending already, but I'll be vague in case you haven't. But the ending with Rand and Ba'alzamon was super intense and really cool to read through. I love the ending, and while I don't think it's as cool as the Great Hunt's ending with the Horn of Valere, it's definitely a close second. So that comes from the words of Ryan, the son of the dragon himself.
And no, not the dragon. No.
Yeah.
I'm not the dragon. I'm just
son of the prophet. Son of the prophet.
Okay. I'm
right,
just
sorry.
his voice.
All right. So I
Pips called me something. I couldn't hear. What did you say, Pips?
I'm gonna mute myself.
Oh, okay. There you go. Good call.
All right. So I responded telling him that I foresee him in the future joining us on the stream. And I actually, while I was typing this on my wall right here in my room, I saw it just out of the blue. I saw a prophecy just appear to me, and I had to write it down. So I wrote down this prophecy. The Nerdporial plans as the Nerdporial wills. It is prophesied and known, and this is what was written. It is soon to be known by many that a calm and cool fang will join its forebear and reveal the ebbs and flows of the myths of the wheel to the followers of the Porial, and why it is adored by many from now until the end of time itself. So yeah, I wrote that prophecy. I made my own. This is my first prophecy. Don't.
I have no idea what it means.
Don't lynch me. So there you go. So yeah, I
Very
wrote my
good.
first prophecy, inspired by the exquisite prophecy writing of Robert Jordan. So
Absolutely.
All right, but yeah, so I just wanted to share that, and yeah,
Very
so,
good. Very good.
Yeah, Dragon. Yep, that's it with the Dragon Reborn. I thought this was just another great book to read. I have other books I want to read before I get into Shadow Rising.
Sometimes it's good to take a little breather, but like,
yeah,
once you start, you're not gonna
I
stop.
promised to read Lord of the Rings, so I'm going to try this week. I intend to finish Fellowship and start Two Towers, and hopefully by the time the White Cloaks and Nathan get to the final stream, talk about the final parts of Return of the King, I want to be caught up by then.
I mean, the plus side is you can read all of the Fellowship, the Two Towers, and the Return of the King in like the same amount of pages as the Shadow Rising.
Is it Shadow Rising? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I thought. So, yeah, it's true. So,
we still got the poll.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What was the? All right. So Matt's 21 votes. Is Matt in the Way of Dice his own luck or Rand's influence? 57% say it's his own luck. 43% say it's Rand's influence. 21 votes.
I think that's a good enough split to say that it's both.
Yeah. Pretty close. So there you go.
Yep.
End poll. So yeah, that one got more. That one got more votes. So nice. That's cool. Got a whole bunch of people here today. That was good. So, any final thoughts about this book before we conclude?
I mean, there were more votes on that one because it was after Steve and I stopped fighting in the panel. You know, we scared everyone away, and then they came back for the second vote.
I think you did the opposite. I think you guys brought people in.
All right.
Just need to just argue more, and you'll make me a rich man.
All right.
No, I love this book. Again, thank you so much for having me on with and the opportunity to talk about this with people who love this series too. It's always a lot of fun. Chat's awesome. All that.
Amen. Ditto.
Yeah, triple that. Just I'll be doing the same thing only with Ryan. So we're gonna go in. So any questions anybody has for my son, obviously.
Yeah, aren't I going to do something with you too? Yeah, new Wheel of Time reader on Prophet of the Dragons channel.
Yeah, no, I want to. So what I'd like to do, what I've envisioned is sort of, I want to do it with Ryan. So Ryan's a shy boy, but I'd like to get you and Jacob on and just sort of just throw down and see what you guys think about the first three and go from there. Maybe speculate. Speculating was always the best thing for me that came out of reading any of these, any fantasy stuff. I love speculating what's going to happen. So it's part of why I love stuff going on in the Cosmere. The Dresden Files is fucking goddamn got me geeked up. It's like the Dresden Files is amazing. So that's another one. And then so the Cosmere's still coming. Trip, just a lot of stuff sort of happened all at once here. So Cosmere stuff is still coming, like 100%. I just, part of it is, I need to reach out to Aldan. I'll probably reach out to Shai because I know Shai knows a lot about the Cosmere too, and then Nathan on, and I got to build my team, got to get my squad together so we can start doing it. So, but it's coming. I haven't lost track of it. I want to get on top of it, but that and Zelda's sort of taken over my life. So.
All right, it's that damn good.
Yeah.
All right. So, about you, Nathan? How's that outline for a new Wheel of Time season progressing?
Oh, it's there.
It's there.
It's there.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's there. It's aging like a fine wine. I don't know how words can do that, but we'll see.
Oh, okay. Well, Pips, about Alex in that parent video. I'm never going to stop bringing this up.
They're editing it, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they're fixing it.
I mean, they've said they've been editing it for weeks, and
they're editing it.
Exactly. Yeah, they're I'm sure they're doing lots of good work on the video.
On top of the video. I'm sorry.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
The parent video, it's gonna be a thing. There's a version of it that I'm just gonna hit publish on if Alex doesn't friggin' just man up and make whatever tweaks he wants to and then put it on there. Otherwise, the one that he hates is just gonna get dumped online. We got the ultimatum laid down. But no, we got that. We got the Lord of the Rings book club stuff still going. We'll have Lady Balefire on with us for the next reading.
When is it? When's the next one?
I might have to steal Nerdporial and Jacob from Steve if he's going to do other stuff. We'll see. You got yourself muted now.
I didn't want to.
Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah, if you want to do it, man. Go for it, man. Like, I don't mind sort of hanging out and chat. So it's all good.
But in reality, I'm starting a new job and got all sorts of stuff going on there, and so we'll see how much we're able to do outside of stuff. But I think we got a few irons in the fire with doing this with you, with doing the Lord of the Rings book club. With Dane has got his Eye of the World kind of deep dive stuff going on, so he should be doing that. Not tomorrow, next Monday. I think he's doing it every other week as well. So we got a couple different repeating serial stuff going on. So
and you said the next Lord of the Rings one is going to be in a couple weeks. So not this weekend, but the next weekend.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have two things next weekend, and then we might have to put something together for this weekend. Like I said, I was thinking of talking with a couple of you guys about some of the books, or maybe just doing some other stuff. But either way, we'll figure out some stuff. It's always good hanging out.
The countdown is countdown for me is 6 weeks. I have to finish Lord of the Rings in 6 weeks, so the countdown's already hit.
We'll talk, buddy, because I definitely want to do the Ryan thing first. So if we'll figure it out. I'm good.
All right,
I'm flexible.
Overall, like I said, I think we got some stuff doing some things. So stay tuned.
Beautiful. Yes. Sweet.
All right.
Almost 4 hours, bro. It's like you're playing Zelda over here.
Yeah, that's true. So, all right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for doing this with me. For me, it's I don't think I have any streams planned for a while. I don't think I'm doing anything. Maybe I'll do a Star Trek thing with somebody eventually. I don't know. But yeah, this week I have nothing. I have no streams planned. I'm working slowly on my video. I got a lot of other stuff going on, so eventually I'll let you guys know when 2001 gets finished and everything. So that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to be doing a lot of reading. I'm going to be doing a lot of reading for the next couple of weeks, and that's going to be it for me. So, but yeah, guys, thanks for definitely checking this out, for supporting and being here, watching these streams. I want to do more of them. I am going to continue The Shadow Rising, and I can't wait to read it. And Steve, what the fuck are you doing?
2001, man. Come on.
Hey, I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be talking during the entire video.
Yeah, I was saying goodbye in space. See,
I'm going to be talking the entire video. It's not going to be slow like the movie is. So, I'm going to be talking my commentary and my ideas.
You got it. Yeah,
I can't wait for Nate to be in the chat.
Yeah. So,
all right.
So you guys ready to say goodbye? Want to see the outro? The outro is going to have some more Nathan.
Awesome.
Heck yeah, pumped.
God help you.
All hail the Lord Dragon.
Boom. Night, everybody.
Walk
in the light.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you once again for being part of this Dragon Reborn streams, and let's see what awaits us coming up as of right now.
And it was written that no hand but his should wield the sword held in the stone, but he did draw it out like fire in his hand, and his glory did burn the world. Thus did it begin. Thus do we sing his rebirth. Thus do we sing the beginning. From Do'in Toldara Te, Songs of the Last Age, Quarto 9, The Legend of the Dragon, composed by Boane, Songmistress at Talarlan, the Fourth Age.